Good. Mm. All right. Bring everyone in. Here we go. Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Good. And you?
Good, good.
Let me keep bringing people in. And let me get the other computer while it still works up and running. All right. Maybe. Oh, my bracelets are making noise.
Hey, Diana,
Yes.
the meeting code, it need to be correct again. It's 9552, it's 9522. In your email?
I thought I said it. I fixed it. I added the 2, didn't I?
Yeah, but it's
still wrong.
9552.
Oh my, I just added a 2 because you said it was missing a 2 and I didn't even look at the number. Yikes. Oh, so sorry. I just went with it. Let me look at the email.
Maybe somebody cannot log in.
I mean, 99% of people use it.
A
Only
link. Okay.
second. Yeah, but yeah, no, but if someone's trying to get in and they can't, 898. So I need to figure out. I need to just go and copy the right one. And then that won't be an issue anymore. But so let me do that right now, if you guys don't mind, because I don't want to keep having that problem.
Yeah.
Passcode.
That's me. I'm making those corrections.
Okay. So let me go back. Hi guys, I'm just correcting for the second time the passcode, which I thought I got right. So I need to go to my so the right one is 9 5 5 9552, not 95. So it wasn't missing a 2, it was missing a 5. And since you said not your fault, since you said it was missing a 2, I just went okay, and I added a 2, but I should just copy 910-7575-9552. Okay, now it is the correct one, and it won't be hopefully one on next time you get it. So please let me know next Wednesday if you get the right one. Okay.
Mhm.
But there's another one here I need to correct. Okay. Should be okay, but then I'll go check that I don't have any other bad ones, but out still lying around. All right. Meanwhile, everyone's been working on getting in. So hi, everyone. Let me see
Hi.
here. Julie and Bob and Sue twice, and Patricia, my son, Diane. Hi, Bob. Don't forget to go to the chat. Hi, Rodney. Hi, Carol. And that's it. So, hi, good morning. Bonjour. I feel like having a lot of hellos today.
Hola.
All right, everyone go to the chat and give me a little hey ho of your own, please. Just to make sure that we all know that we're here. I see your hand. Give me a sexu. I just want to make sure that everyone remembers all the ins and outs. Here we go. Okay. Yes. Hi, Sue. What's up? You're muted. Can't hear you. I can't hear you if you're saying, I see your mouth.
There we go.
Okay, so on the second, on one of your machines, Sue, next time when you connect, it'll say connect with audio, and you should say, no. But now that you have them both,
I don't
yeah, you do.
get
Unless
into my
someone else,
computer
okay,
because
go to one of them. It's not about muting yourself. It's about disconnecting the sound completely. So you have one muted, and that's not enough. So is the muted one another computer, or is it an iPad?
the computer.
Okay. So go to the muted one, which is not the one you're looking at me through. Go to the muted one.
I can't get in.
You're there. I see you here twice.
I have a sign saying this is recorded, and I can't get that sign off.
You can't say okay to it on the far right?
No, okay doesn't work. I'm trying. Wait. Wait, no.
Oh, you're here 3 times. No, there you go. No, you're here twice. Yeah. Here's your second one. Okay. Look at the one that you're going to be doing the class with, not the one you're watching, but the one that you're actually working on, that one. Okay, the one that's called Zoom user. Are you looking? Okay. Which one are you going to do? Which one is your new computer? Look through that one.
I'm looking through that.
Okay, so this is your good one. Okay, so now go to the other one, the one that you were looking at me through before, the one that you raised your hand in. That one. And go to the audio button where you mute and unmute yourself. And right next to it, there's a tiny little up triangle.
Done.
No, you muted yourself. I don't need to mute yourself. I need to do a little bit more. Right next to the right of that audio button, right next to it, there's a little like a little up arrow.
Yeah.
Click on that little up arrow. You see that?
Oh,
Click on that little tiny up arrow that's next to it.
Oh,
And then if you read from the bottom, it'll say audio settings. And then the next one up will say leave computer audio. Okay, so the
share.
same,
Oh, that's share.
no. On the far left where it says mute or unmute, or it says audio and it line or not line. Okay, right now you have it. Okay. See how right next to it, there's a tiny little, look at my hands, a little, I call it a triangle, an angle.
It's not there.
Well, go ahead and
No.
right next to the audio, you have the audio and the video. I know you turned, because you turned your video off. So I know you found your audio and you found your video.
I thought
Yeah?
it was charged, but
I'm going to do a little screenshot of what I'm talking about so that I can share that with you. Okay. So give me a second, you guys. I'm going to share what I'm showing.
okay, I'll be doing notes at least. I don't know.
Okay. So I'm going to share. Nope. I am going to share this little window. Okay. So
There.
so look, everyone, if you go to the bottom left where you have all your buttons, there's an audio button. And whenever I talk about that little tiny triangle that's next to it, it's these little guys. See that? Right next to your audio button. When you click on that little thing, you will see these words come up and you need to click on leave computer audio. So at first you just see, you don't see all this. You just see the audio, and it's this little triangle that you need to target. It's like an arrow. It's not a triangle. It's a little,
It's
it
Karen.
has a name. What's the
Karen.
name? Karen. A what?
Karen.
Carrot.
Mhm.
Did you find it, Sue?
Not on my machine.
Well, it's on our machine. It's a machine. So let me just see. Do you see your audio button? Do you see this button?
On my iPad, and there's no button.
It's not a button. Do you see the word audio?
Yes.
Okay,
That's mute.
right next to it. Do you see a little guy? It'll be pointing down.
No, I don't.
Right. Well, then just mute yourself on the second one. All right.
That says unmute.
Okay. So it's not as bad if it's muted. It's just a bit of a reverb. We'll leave it there. Whenever you find it,
There's no little button.
there's no button. It's
There's no little arrow. There's nothing between my audio and my camera.
all right. Then
I can maybe do it on.
do you have a very, very, very old Zoom on that system? Because you just said mute and it should say audio if it's new, but if it says mute, it's old.
It says mute and unmute.
Okay, so it's an old Zoom. Because now the new one says audio. Right, you guys?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That's why
asked
when I
us to
kept saying
update.
look for audio and then you said the word mute and I thought, okay, so there you go. It used to be mute
Okay.
audio. That's fine. As long as you keep the other one muted, it seems to be working. Normally it doesn't, and if we have a bit of reverb, it won't be as bad as when both are open. So
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, so I
The other
muted
one,
my-
watch me on the other one,
my-
and you're not doing the reverb, so that's good.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? You should be able to hear me. I have not changed anything audio-wise. So you turned their sound. Oh, you did. You did. You turned your sound off
I
on
turned,
one. You turned your sound off on one of them, on the one that I see your video on right now. So that's
yes,
why I did reverb. You did do it right on that one. So now
on my computer, not on my iPad.
I
It
asked
doesn't
if they
matter.
were one was an iPad or okay. I asked you if they were both computers, and you said they were both computers. If one is an iPad, you wouldn't have that little triangle. Got it.
Right.
Okay. You're
So,
fine now. You can
but
hear me.
I
You can
can't
tell.
hear you.
Well, you can hear me because you just answered me.
I can barely hear you. I
Well,
don't know
then
how
that's
to.
so then you need to put up the volume on whatever device that you are using. Because so which one are you hearing me through, the iPad or
iPad,
okay.
and
So
I don't know how to.
buttons on the sides of the iPad have volume. So I'm just trying to make sure.
Wait a minute, I found some buttons.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Oh, that goes down.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I think while I was saying I was supporting Sue, I think Carlos Sauceda, you arrived. Hi. And I think that's it. I think I said hi to everyone else. Diane, you weren't on screen when I said hi. So hi, Diane. And you might have heard me, but I couldn't see you, so I wasn't sure if you were there. And okay, everyone else is here. All right, wonderful. Welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
And let me get, okay, so to recap, just confirming, I believe it was Carol Sauceda used to have an old operating system and she is now using a new operating system. The whole update was successful. She's up to from the very oldest. She had the oldest of the whole class because she hadn't updated in like 7 years. Now she has the absolute newest Sequoia. So see, there you go. Perfect. So you are now graduated to this side of the computer. So on that side of the computer, I still have Jennifer and Carol. And Jennifer tried to get in a second ago. Where are you? I let her in, but I don't see her. Oh, I saw her try to get in. Hi, Georgia.
Hi, Diana.
Right.
Sorry, I'm a little late.
It's perfect
Denise?
timing. We're beginning right now because I was supporting some people with some Zoom
Yeah.
stuff. And Rodney, I'm going to mute you because I know you're talking kind of in the background. Okay, just so
Okay.
that I don't have to. We don't have to have. Okay, and then the second thing was, yeah, I don't know where Jennifer went. I hope she didn't crash. Okay, hopefully she'll come back in again. All right. So you guys had some homework. And there's no right or wrong or good or bad. I'm not gonna like, tap you on the, on the back of your hand or anything. But who remembers what the homework was? And who knows where to check for it? Yes, Julie, what's the homework?
It was to go to the class recording and look at the handouts, which I did. I watched your recording and then I did it.
All right. Now, the recording of how to get to the handouts. Okay, I didn't expect you, if you didn't miss the class, to watch the 3.5 hours of class. I'm talking about the video that shows you how to get to the handouts.
Right.
Now, this time I emailed you your homework and I emailed you the links because the homework was learn how to do it for yourself so that by Thursday you can do it for yourself.
Yeah.
So, who was successful in getting to the handouts? Who was successful and knows now how to get to those links? Who found that page that says, here's the link for today, here's the link for tomorrow? If you were successful, give me a yes. If you tried but couldn't figure it out, give me a no. If you didn't try because you didn't know that was the homework, give me a no. Ian, nice to see you.
Hi. I'm getting over bronchitis, so I don't have very much voice. But
Oh my
hi, nice to
goodness.
see you, Donna. Hi, everybody.
Well, okay, then stay silent and we'll
Yes, I will stay silent.
do. Okay, feel better. Thanks for showing up. All right. So, let me see. So, Carol, did you not try, or thus we'll try on Thursday, or did you not get in there and you need some support with that?
I didn't get a chance to try it. Sorry.
Okay, so then it's no, please, I didn't mean it as a bad thing. Just give it a try with the recording and the email that I sent and see if you can do it. Maybe during break, or if you need your break, then after class, and then so that you can make sure that you'll have the recording. Which if you're here today, you don't need the recording for next Thursday unless you want to review something, right? So if you're here, the only reason you need a handouts is when I show handouts and you want to see them, when you want to read again other things that I've been writing in there, or when you're like, oh God, I missed the last half hour. I had to go for an appointment, or I just really would like to hear this again so that I get it. So those are the reasons to get to recording. It's not like everyone has to watch the entire class recording again. If you're in class and you got it, then that's good. Rodney, yeah, what's up? Oh, you're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You're talking to me and I can't hear you. You're muted.
This was the first class I was able to attend, so I,
Oh, okay, that's so last
Yeah.
so did you get a chance to watch the recording? Because you
no.
were at the
but
end of last class.
What's that?
You were at the end of last week's class. So I sent an email just to make sure that you got the email. Are you on the roster? You should have gotten an email from me.
I did.
Okay, so then go to that email that I sent
hmm
sometime last week. And between here and Thursday, make sure to watch the recording, the little recording. I think it's an 8-minute video that follows the steps of how to get to the class handout, so that on Thursday, you can give me a thumbs up or
Thumbs up. Okay.
a thumbs up, but yes, Mark, on
Okay.
on getting to the class handouts. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. I'm gonna clear the feedback, and now we're going to start with some new stuff. So if the other, okay, and the other, the other good reason to go to the class handouts, believe it or not, is who has a hard time sometimes remembering what happened the class before. Yeah, and I'm not asking you to say yes or no, but sometimes you're like, what did you talk about? So especially when you're trying to see if you need to review something, getting to the class handouts is, remember, that's the best thing you can do. Let me give a quick, because by the way, if you can't get to the class handouts, I'm happy to demo it again. But under the Zoom class recording links, this link to the AI summary is a good one to do maybe the day before class or something. Just quickly open it and go, what did you talk about? Oh, that's what she was talking about. Okay, got it. This is what happened. Does that make sense? So this is just a quick little thing you can skim over and go, oh, and this is what I had to do. Because this was the homework also that I didn't 100% say do it by next week, but I did say that I wanted to make sure that everyone had their Apple ID or password. I said it during the class, but then I didn't really assign it to you as a homework. Okay. So here will usually be the homework. Basically, when AI picks up when I say by next week you need to, and it kind of puts it here under these next steps. Okay. Now, oh, I've got the wrong one. Oh, no, I didn't. Enrolling in the Mac level 1. Oh, okay. All students with storage concerns. Okay, I was like, why is this one here? Yes, because we went to the storage, both in your computer and in your phone. Remember, we went to the storage and we discovered who had a lot of space, who didn't have a lot of space.
Mhm.
And I mentioned that Mac level 1 that comes, as soon as this one ends, it starts same days, Tuesday, Thursday, 9 days, it's identical. So basically one Thursday we're meeting for intro to the Mac, and the next Tuesday we start meeting for Mac level 1. But if you're not enrolled in that class, like officially registered, then you won't get that information. You won't get the links from me. You won't be in the class. So do I have, I don't know that I have the CRNs right now. Anyway, I can give you the CRNs. Anyone who is, here it is, intro to Mac level 1 is 80515 and 80514. Let me put this in the chat. So if anyone is still not enrolled, so 80515 is Mac level 1 and 80514, I know, bizarre that they mix them up, is Mac level 2. You'd think 4 would come first and 5, but never mind. Make sure you're set up for those 2 classes. Okay, I put them in the chat. For those of you who are not set up. And if you don't know if you're set up or not, I can later go and look for the roster. Yes, Julie?
Just a quick reminder, if they want to register, they should do it now because Tuesday is registration for your fall classes and that may confuse.
Oh my, really?
And we have not gotten the catalog in the mail, so I don't know what they're doing, but it was supposed to be next Tuesday for the free classes. So that, you know,
I'm glad that you always know the registration dates, Julie. Thank you for keeping me on top of things. I'm still a little bit weirded out on the schedule. things.
Diana,
Tuesday, what's the day of the month?
July 8th.
July 8th.
I
So,
believe that's the day we have registration. And, you know, if your students for the summer one now, they should register before that because the numbers may.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, one thing you need to remember is that these numbers have to go under when you register for summer. Because otherwise, yeah, when people start sending in registration forms, they'll automatically think, Julie's right. They
I
will,
just wanted to
it-
add that the catalogs are there in the post in the bulletin board. They just placed
Oh,
them yesterday
I
when
think
I took a class.
I think I heard that in the summer they don't mail them. No, they do. They have to. They're for the fall. Okay, so if they just put them out, then that means that they might be getting to you in the mail this week, which is kind of a short notice.
It
if the
is, yeah.
season starts next week. I don't know about the schedules. Anyway, let me stop this share. Bob,
Yeah,
thank you by the way for the information. Anyone who needs a catalog for the fall sessions, it's out at school, and hopefully you'll be getting it in the mail this week. And registration for the fall classes starts next Tuesday. Thanks for that. Yes, Bob?
for me to get a catalog, I have to drive by the school on Turnpike and pick it up there. But I
Oh.
would like it mailed to me. Do you know how to do that? How to get on the mailing list?
Yeah, it's strange. You must have somehow dropped out of the system. If you look at your class, at your student information that the school has of yours, make sure that your right address is there. And then
Yeah.
if all of that is correct, then shoot an email to Emma Cruz,
All right.
which is cruz@sbcc.edu is her email. Right there, I just put it in the chat. And say that you don't, you're in my class, you don't receive the catalog, and I don't know, someone is in charge of mailing, but she would know who to forward your email to, you know what I mean? To
Right.
add you to the list, because I would have zero idea, and that is
Okay, great.
actually, Emma Cruz with a Z.
Okay, thank you.
And what's bizarre is for the summer one, I got 2 copies and 2 of my friends I paint with, they live in Goleta and they each got 2. I mean, it makes no sense, so.
Yeah, that's a waste, double the waste of money. So yeah. All right. That's all stuff that however much I like hearing about it, because I do have meetings where I pass this information on a punctual basis, like Bob to fix your thing, call them. How to stop them from sending you to, I don't know. That must have been a big, someone made a mistake, but it also means that maybe they sent it twice to some group and not at all to some other group. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, all right.
When you teach in the fall, is it going to be Monday, Wednesday again?
Oh, you got me there. I have
Oh, okay,
to
never
look at the
mind.
schedule.
We'll look in the catalog.
Yeah, no, it's important. So you know what? Let me show you. It's about the dashboard, okay? The dashboard that has all your information. Let me show you this, you guys. First of all, you get to my.sbcc.edu and then you sign in, right? And then when you're there, you'll be in the dashboard. You will not see employee and faculty. You will see student resources, right?
Yeah.
But in the student resources and worst case scenario, if not under class registration and schedule, which I believe maybe what you see first, then notice that by the way, for those of you who have already done, all of you who've already done the enrollment, to register in a class from now on, it is so simple. All you need to do is click on this button, class registration, be armed with your CRN, and then you just type in the CRN once you answer their questions and submit, and that's it, and you're registered, okay? But when you want to search for a class, you go down to this one, class search, and you click on that one. And here's the part that gets slightly more complicated, is that by default, it always assumes you want to search credit. So for us, we need to switch this one to non-credit. And if it's summer, then you have to switch to summer non-credit, right? But if it's fall, that'll be the default and non-credit. But then you need to say select, because that hasn't changed yet. See how it says accounting, addicted disorder. When you say fall to non-credit, then you click select.
Hey,
Then after you've done select, see how now it says vocational accounting. So now this is non-credit. See how it says non-credit? So it kind of all switched to non-credit. The easiest way, if you know me and you're looking for a class from me, is to go over here where it says instructor, click on this thing that says all, and then start writing my last name, Musakio, and then I show up. That's it. Then you say search. Now, if you're looking for another instructor, you do that. If you're looking for a class itself, then you have to go through the whole. But once you do that, then boom, all my classes are next to each other, right? And then let me check. It'll be Monday, Wednesday, 1 to 4:15. Looks like my math classes are Monday, Wednesday, 1 to 1:15, 1 to 4, 4:45, 4:15. That seems to be this, it's a twice a week thing. Okay, so hopefully you guys can get oh, and I'll be teaching the intro to handheld devices, which used to be a class that Norma used to teach. So that's a new one that I'll get to show you a bunch of that stuff. And it looks like it's also going to be Monday, Wednesday at the end in December. Anyway, and then my Photoshop and my digital designs and things like that. So anyway, it looks like I'm missing one. No, there's 2 Photoshop.
Yeah, my life.
So so how did I get here? Once again, I was in the dashboard and I went to class search. And this is the crucial portion, is you have to switch once it comes up, because my system seems slow, from fall to non-credit, select. So that's the most important step. Once that has switched to non-credit, then and only then, and right now it's being really slow for some reason. My computer is slow as molasses. Come on. There we go. Once it switches to non-credit, then you go down here and find, say, your art instructor or whatever else that you want. Now, if instead you don't know who the instructors are, then you might need to go over here and say, okay, if I want, creative art, or if I want, and you click whichever one you are. It's really hard for you guys to know where the classes are. So searching this in order to find a class is almost impossible. I would say, because I'll teach one class in here, one class in there, one class in there, so it's like, they don't make that much sense. One of my Photoshops is in photography, the other one of my Photoshops is up here in graphic design, and the other one is in media arts, here, multimedia, stuff like that. So it's harder, but something like arts might work. Ideally, you would use the actual printed catalog to see what the classes are, and then you can do this to sign up. Does that make sense? So,
Yeah.
because otherwise, yeah. Or you can actually get, I believe there's a link in here. There might, somewhere here, there should be a link for the catalog online itself, and I do not know where that one might be. There's if you go straight to SBCC, sbcc.edu, there's School of Extended Learning link right at the very top, because the rest is credit, credit, credit. If you go to the very, very first link at the very top, School of Extended Learning right up there, then it has a lot of information, and then you can search. This one takes you to the same search as before, but it's already set up for non-credit. But one of these, I believe, has the catalog. I don't know. I'll look for it, because I'm saying all
There
these
it
things.
is.
Maybe their catalog.
Hmm.
And then you click on department website, extended learning. Nope. Yeah, so it's not that easy. I need to tell them that this isn't, the catalog didn't take me to the catalog. But if you go, say, older adults tuition free, yeah, application registration, but they used to have the catalog as a PDF online. I need to find out where it is. Okay, so sorry about that. They keep changing, and yeah, contact student services. One of these should have the catalog, and I don't know which one it is. Okay. All right. Didn't want to make this more confusing. Finding the catalog, the easiest thing is to get it in the mail or go pick one up in person. But some of you guys don't live in Santa Barbara. I see on the roster that, there's people in Lompoc, and there's people in, Tahoe. You can be anywhere in California and take a class here. So if you don't get it in the mail, plan B is you need to get it through online. So I need to figure out what's the best way to have you guys get it online.
I like it.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
like it when you send us the course number. That makes it so much easier.
Yeah. If you are a student who's taken one of my classes, I send you a link to my classes. I send you an email with the CRNs to my classes, which is great, but there's many other awesome classes that you should be able to look at and take. Now there's one other link that when I find, Emma tends to send it in her emails. Let me, and that, okay, I'll find it. She tends to have a link when she signs her emails that is a page that just has non-credit classes. I'll find it and I'll send it to you guys whenever I find it. I'm not, yeah, I don't have it right now. I don't have it right now. So I'll send that to you guys in the next email. And here's the good news. When I go set up the AI summary to send it to link to you guys, I read through the things that are what's next. And I know AI automatically will pick up this one saying Deanna will send the link to the not credit classes. And so I'll go, oh, thank you. And I'll go do it because it helps me too. Okay. So yeah, so be ready for fall registration. And for those of you who waited until the last minute to register, if you prefer not to get my desperate, urgent, please sign up that I always do at the first week of class, it's because people are forgetting to register much earlier. And then the class has, 5 people. And then, but after I send that email, suddenly I have 15 and then I have 20. But I need you guys to sign up as soon as you know you're going to take it. That way we don't have the despair of, oh no, all my classes are going to fail and I'm not going to teach and da, 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 da. And a lot of summer classes have had not enough students. So I appreciate, thank you all for signing up. And do that not just for me, but for other teachers as well. If you're in Santa Barbara, there's a ton of awesome art classes. There's just so much good stuff out there. Okay. In the fall, oh, this is important. I'll be teaching HyFlex. What that means for some of you who've never done this before is that instead of being here in my comfy studio, I will be at school in room number 3 in the remodeled, redesigned lab, which was supposed to take last summer and it took a whole year. I haven't seen it yet. I hope it'll be ready, but they say it'll be ready. And people who want to take the class on Zoom, you can still take it on Zoom. And people who want to go in person can go be there at the same time. I will have Zoom online there, but I will be teaching and be able to kind of hold your hand through the process in person. Okay. So for those of you who don't do that, you can bring your laptops and stuff over there. So you can sign up. It's the same class. It's the same time. Some of you guys will still be online. Some of you guys will be in person. Okay. So that's in the fall. Which actually bears to say, actually, there's a point why let me actually say this now that I think about it, because
I think classes start the end of August, actually, the week before Labor Day, and then there's a week off, and it's just.
They always, yeah, it's kind of weird. They have to do that they start ahead of time, and yeah. So let me share one more thing. Because of this HyFlex, and this is always confusing, because of the HyFlex, notice that it seems like I'm teaching 2 Intro to the Mac courses, right? Or 2 Intro to the Mac Level 1, Intro to the Mac Level 2, 2 iLifes, all that stuff. It's because it has 2 CRNs, but it's at the XamSim schedule, Monday to Wednesday, 1 to 4. But people who want to be in person, you need to sign up to this CRN. People who want to be online, you need to sign up to that CRN. That said, say that you sign up to be in person and then you go, you know what? I prefer to take it online today. Guess what? You can Zoom in that day. Or if you take it online and you go, I'd rather she help me in person, you can just come into week number 3. So it doesn't stop you from saying, well, I have a headache today and I don't want to be in person. I'm going to just Zoom into the class. So you can still, the class is still happening. You can do either. But to register, you would register for one or the other. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So for all of these that you see same schedule for 2, it's because of that. Okay. It's because they're HyFlex classes. And see here, I have the same thing with Photoshop and stuff like that. Okay. I just wanted to point that out. Okay. Bob, do you have a new question or is that?
That's an old question.
It's the old hand, like I say.
Yeah.
Old question. Okay, great. Okay, so thank you for all of that information that came out when we started talking registration, because yeah, sometimes I forget to say it before the registration starts and then it gets confusing. So thank you, Julie, for the reminder. And now, lo behold, it's time to keep talking about our classes. Now, last week I sent you to the system settings, and we talked about storage on your computer. So I'm gonna remind you how that happened by sharing this computer, and we went to either the system settings icon on the dock, if you see it, if you still have it, or we went to the Apple system settings right there, that when everyone has this one. And for the Carol, Gear, and Jennifer. Oh, Jennifer again is not here. She did try to come in. And she emailed me saying she couldn't get into the Zoom. I'll see if I can give her some support. So for you two, it'll say system preferences instead of system settings. So over here under the word general, we went to about this Mac, software update, and storage. And this storage was, remember, very specifically about your computer, how much space or not is in your computer. We're not going to deal with this much more in this class. We're going to be dealing with this in Mac level 1. But that is beginning to know how the system settings work. And then once you're in storage and you want to back out, you can either click on the general tab again, or you can go to this little arrow and back out and then find something else that's under general. Okay, so that's just a reminder of how the system services work. Now, who knows and who remembers if I tried to get to my iCloud account to find out how much space I have in my iCloud account, where do I go? Let me shift this so that you're seeing only this window, which is smaller.
Your Apple ID up near the top, I think.
Exactly. Everything from this line under, as soon as it starts saying Wi-Fi is what you have in your house. You have a connection in your house. So this is about your house, your computer, your hardware, like everything that you're touching and seeing in your house. But from this line, and I wish they used to have a line. I wish they still had the line because it was easier to explain. From this space, little tiny space up, SBCC Business Services and Family, these two are about your iCloud account. So when I click on this, meaning outside of your computer, when I click on this one, we discover that this is your iCloud account right under your name. This should have your name, your iCloud account. And for Carol, Gear, and Jennifer, it's still called Apple ID instead of iCloud account, and it's on the top of your system preferences. And then to find iCloud information, we click in here. And this storage right there is about our iCloud, our storage for the iCloud. So we are going to talk more about that, more about the iCloud. Again, 99% of this gets explained in Mac level 1, but I am going to explain a bit of it as I explain how the cloud works. We're going to discover that the stuff that's in your computer that goes to the cloud also goes to your other devices. So the cloud is kind of the connection between your computer, your iPad, and your iPhone. So for it to be on all your devices, it needs to reside in the cloud. Okay, so let me go ahead and share it with you guys from our class handouts. Okay, so here are the class handouts. And one of the things that I like to do with the class handouts is to not see them as names like this. I like to see them as little tiny icons that show me what's inside. And to do that, I need to go over here. Up in this area, you'll see that it's showing it to me as a list or as little previews. So list or previews. And some of you guys still have this stuff here that takes up space and has not useful at all. So if you see one more column on the right side, you can click on this little X and get rid of it. And now you have more space and you can see them. Same thing, see class files down, Zoom, accommodation, backup process. When I click on this one, same, Zoom, accommodations, backup process. But you see a little bit of you can kind of see a little bit more maybe what I'm showing you. But then you can't see the entire name of your file. So you might prefer the other way. Anyway, your choice. But I did want to right now open up this one that says iCloud PDF. And I'm going to double click on that one to open it. And this is a little drawing that we're going to talk about in much more in detail later, but I want to just do an introduction to this right now. Actually, let me show you different one first. And it's this one, cloud computing. Okay. So this looks like some futuristic movie or something like that, but this is actually what the cloud computing data centers look like, basically. Out in the desert in the world, there are humongous buildings. They are like cities. They are so big. And it's there's like hallways like this. They even drive trucks through them, full of, these are computers. Each one of these is a hard drive. And all of this holds your data. So it doesn't go in some mystical up in the cloud, you know. It is actually held in places. But that data is held and replicated in many other centers. So it's not like if someone were to wipe out this little device that happens to have your data, and this one has someone else's data, and this one has someone else's data. That's not how it works. It's more like when you put in a new piece of data, maybe it gets put over here. And to another day you take another photo, maybe it gets put over here, and another photo gets put over here. Imagine in the miles and miles of stuff. They basically, data fills in whatever space is available. When it's not like this one here holds each person's data, right? So even if there's, and then all of this is backed up again. So these are out of, you know, talk about energy and stuff like that. Anyway, so this is many different ways of how these things go. Now, all of that is sent to you through cable to your house. So your account, what stops you from looking at, you know, Rodney from looking at Georgia's or Julie from looking at Carol's? And it's because the only way to access your data is by having your account name, which is that this is your account name right there. But your account name is findable by anyone, just like your email or your phone number. Anyone can find your account name. But in order to get in to see what's in there, you need to have a password on it, right? So no one, not even Apple, no one has your password but yourself. So unless you have your password, you can't get to your stuff. Okay. So that password is important. The password that protects all the stuff, because that stuff that's in the cloud is precisely, and let me go find that other drawing now. This one. That stuff that's in the cloud. Okay. So just look at this little portion here of this drawing only. Okay. The cloud is every single company has their own. Google has their own, Microsoft has their own, Spotify, New York Times, I mean, the weather, everyone has their stuff in the cloud. But each one of those has some kind of a password to get in. You know, when you get into Pipeline, it's a Google account. You need to put in your password. I can't get into your Google account, only you can, because you have your Pipeline password. Same with the iCloud stuff. I can't get into yours. Yeah, I don't have the password. You can't get into mine. I don't have the password. So here's the deal. This belongs to Apple. And within Apple, if they have 10 million users and you're one of them, this little bit of that is your stuff. Who can get in? Only yourself. Now, what happens is that stuff that you have on your Mac gets sent to the cloud to then get sent to your phone. Stuff that you have on your phone, say you take a picture, gets sent to the cloud to then go down to your computer. Stuff that you have on your iPad, you play a game on your iPad, gets sent to the cloud because then you can also play it on your phone. So whichever way, stuff that you have on your phone gets sent to the cloud to then get sent to your smartwatch. Does that make sense? It's not like the watch sends things to the iPad or to the phone. No, 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 no. Everything goes through the cloud. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that cloud is the one that you need to have space in to hold all your stuff. So back to this place where, let me clear that little circle, where we go ahead and check on the cloud space and go, oh yeah, I have a lot of space still in the cloud. I'm fine. Or oops, I'm getting to the end of the space of my cloud. And then my phone's going to start telling me, you have no more space. You need more space. You know how you get those messages. At which point you need to, if you are not paying anything right now, because you get 5 gigabytes for free, then you need to start paying $1 a month, $12 a year to move up to 50 gigabytes, which is what I have in here. And how do you do that? You click on manage. And if you need more space because your 50 gigabytes is getting full, so I'm going to click here on storage plan. So I'm paying $9.99 per month right now. Okay. Not 9.99, 0.99. I'm paying $1 a month. Okay. And that gives me 50 gigabytes of space. If you pay 0, then you get 5 gigabytes of space. And 5 gigabytes of space are always free because your computer needs, your phone needs a place to back itself up. So you've always had 5 gigabytes for free from the moment anyone who gets an account gets the 5 gigabytes for free. But once you start taking pictures, it runs out very quickly. So then if you want to see all the possible plans of what you can pay, then I don't know why my computer is so slow today. Wow. I'm having look at that. It's not clicking. Wow. All right. I don't know why it's you would think.
There you go.
When we link with you, are we going through the City College system?
When you say that again, when you what?
When we're in a Zoom class with you, are we relayed through the City College system? Or is it relayed directly through Zoom?
Through Zoom, but Zoom is given to you because it goes through City College. But yeah, it's a City College.
So
But you could still like you can use Zoom for free for like a 45-minute meeting, but to have a 3.5-hour meeting, you need to have a paid account. And so the schools, you're going through the school's account in order to have a 3.5-hour meeting. But if you open Zoom on your own and it's your private email, you can use it for free and meet with, call your family for 45 minutes. But if you want it longer than that, then you need to pay an account of your own.
Well, the reason I asked is I was wondering whether if the City College has some kind of overload or something, does it affect how our Zoom classes function?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Well, sometimes I have the impression that the City College computers occasionally
Oh, you mean
overloaded.
why I'm getting slow? Oh, okay. So you're asking because my computer's slowing down. I'm sorry. I was trying to understand the no, if this is slow or not slow, it's up to my system and your guys' system. We're not okay. We're not going and I see your I'm sorry, I wasn't getting the gist of your question. If I have a slow internet connection and I'm running a class, it slows down for me. If you have a slow computer, it slows down for you. But my computer slowing down is because of my connection, not because of anyone else's connection, nor through City College.
Okay.
So, yeah, thanks. If I am next fall when I'm at school and I'm using the school computers and I'm connecting to Zoom, it'll be their fault if it's slow. But now it's mine and I have a fast connection, so I'm not really sure what's happening.
Well, one reason I wondered is that I used to have my computer sort of plugged right into my my cable.
That's the fastest.
Directly. I now have the the cable link is in the other room and I'm on Wi-Fi. And I wonder whether that sort of screws me up.
It depends. It depends. If you have a good router that's really high quality and is sending you good data, you might be almost the same as if you're plugged in, but being plugged in is always the fastest because you are straight in, right? And then when you're having a router send it to you, you might have a cement wall in between or something and it begins to get slower. And if your house is big and you're in a room far away from it, it gets even slower. So you need to have a good Wi-Fi system go through your house. But that it's always going to be a bit slower than it. Like this computer, the reason I'm saying that is because I'm noticing because this computer I used to because the one that's wired in is my big computer. My laptop is using Wi-Fi. Anyway, never mind.
Okay.
Zoom is not school is not an issue for this.
Okay.
I have to provide my own. Yeah, it was school should pay for it, right?
Well, it should.
Good enough that I managed to wrangle a computer out of them to teach because but that happened once many years ago and by now I need to start begging. Which is why I have an iPhone 10 that I teach with. It's on the list to try and get a faster one. Anyway, all right. So everyone's pretty clear about the function of the cloud. It's to connect your devices. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Now, quick thing about that cloud. You can choose what you want or don't want on it. That is the kind of stuff that we'll be learning in Mac level 1. But and you can add more things to it, pay more, pay less. Once $1 isn't enough a month, then you can go up to $2.99 a month, which is like $34 a year. And for 99% of people, that's more than enough. And then you can keep paying more and more to get more and more space, of course. But there's only one person here and there who needs more than that. So that should be fine. In fact, I pay more than that because I have my entire family on the same plan. So instead of paying $2.99 per 4 people, I pay $9.99 for 4 people. And so it's cheaper. So that's why I'm paying $9.99 a month because all of us by now, everyone's an adult and everyone, they just became adults. I'm still paying for them. Little, they just graduated. Anyway, so yes, Justine.
I just want to mention that recently I started getting a bunch of spam emails telling me your cloud data will be deleted if you don't pay by this certain date. And when I looked at the first one, I didn't catch that it was spam. I was like, oh no. But then I looked at it and I mark it as spam, so it's blocked, but then it keeps coming from different email addresses. So this same cloud scam thing,
Yeah,
be
it's a
on the
bad
lookout
one.
for
It's
it.
a bad one. There's, guys, scams, and this isn't the time to show you and tell you how to find out that it's a scam. We'll get to that. But just so you know, 99% of 99.9% of any email that you get from anywhere saying that your accounts are running out or you're going to be getting sent to collections and all that kind of stuff, 99.9% are scams. So be very careful because the moment you answer them, then it becomes even worse. The iCloud account being full is pervasive and it's so hard to tell. When we get to the email class, I'll show you how to tell that it's a scam. But they are getting so good that it is hard to tell. So just if you get any email from any company, any bank, any of those, do your due diligence, separately call your bank, separately open up and go to your account, which I will teach you how to go to your iCloud account to see whether your bills are being paid, that kind of thing. But don't ever answer any of those emails. And now and then one might be correct. You might be in default. That's fine. I find that if I'm ever in default, I just came home and discovered I hadn't paid my latest copay, when you go to the doctor and you pay insurance and then you get a piece that you need to pay. So right now I came home and I discovered you haven't paid. We're going to send you deductions for $14. And I'm like, yikes, how silly is that? So I paid. So yeah, but guess what? I got it in the actual mail in my post office box. So, meaning in my mailbox, whatever it's called. So, yeah, don't ever trust those, but go check. just in case you truly do have a missing check or something happening, but directly with the bank. Don't ever answer those emails. And then it'll take quite a bit to you have to block, send to junk, block, send to junk. And it gets to a point where if your email address is out there and you've responded, they're like warm body behind this number, then it's like, boom, you get barraged, right? So after, if that becomes unfixable, I always say, well, it might be time to get a new email address, right? But the iCloud one has been pretty pervasive. I've been receiving. I just know to delete it, but they don't send you from the same email address. They have bazillions of addresses it comes from, so you can't really block it. You block that one, but then they send you from another one. So we'll talk more when we get into the email class about how to try to get some filters and stuff like that in there.
Is
But
there an email class that's different from this?
I teach the Mac level 2 is the class is all
Okay.
about the apps, and Mac level 2 will be talking about email.
Okay, I'm signed up.
All right. Yeah, whenever you have a question of something you want to learn and you want to know what class it's in, let me know. And I am creating a few new classes. We are revamping all these classes. Finally, I've been telling you forever, these classes will be revamped. It's actually happening between here and December. It all has to be in, and then by then it'll take a year for them to approve it. So by next fall, hopefully we'll have all the new lineup of with the new names and not this weird living the iLife and yeah. So yay! I'm finally working on it. Okay. Okay. So that's the iCloud. We're gonna keep talking about the iCloud. We're gonna get really into the nitty-gritty of the iCloud, especially in Mac level 1. You're gonna know exactly what's where. But for now, you understand, hopefully, that whenever I talk about the cloud, it's not something that doesn't affect you. As long as you have more than one Apple device, it affects you deeply because that's how things go from this computer to that. Or from the smartwatch or from your phone to that. So we're going to start exploring that, and then you'll discover when. Now, when let me stop and sharing this, and now I'm going to go to my phone to share my phone. And so go ahead and pull out your phones or your iPads, because whenever I share my phone, it's the same for phone and iPad. And once again, I'll go over to the settings. And in the settings, down here under general is what storage? The storage of what do I find under general?
iPhone storage.
Yeah, it's the iPhone storage, how much space I have in my phone. So when I go in here, it'll tell me now this is my physical phone, the phone that I'm holding in my hand. How much space does it have? It's a machine, and how much space does this machine have? When I back out and back out again, then up here at the top, Mason, I just muted you because there's some sound coming from your background. So then when I get to the top of the settings in my phone, that takes me to the iCloud Apple account. And once again, I scroll down and I go to iCloud. And this is how much space my cloud has. So this number here should be identical to the one that I found in my computer. Does that make sense? Because the iCloud is not in my computer nor in my phone. It's my account, how much space I have in my account. So it should say 25.3 of 50 gigabytes, both in my system settings on my computer and in my system settings in my phone, because neither of these have to do with my phone or my computer. That's how much space I'm paying for to have space in the cloud. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
I've filled up half of my storage in the cloud. Okay. And if I ever run out of this, then I'll just need to pay for more. And it's not physical. I don't get anything other than more space in the cloud. The next step up, the $299 gives me 200 gigabytes. And that's pretty much useful for just about everyone. If you pay more than that, usually it's because you have like a family plan or you have a business or stuff like that. Or we all are going to get to the point where we've accumulated so many videos, not so much photos. You can have tens of thousands of photos and still fit in the second, $2.99 a month. But if you start taking a ton of videos, you might get to the place where those videos will fill up and you're going to start needing to pay. The next tier up is $9.99, $10 a month. So you got to make sure that those videos are worth it. But I've only known one or two people here who've been on $9.99. Does anyone know that they're paying for $9.99 a month? If you do know, give me a yes. If you know that you're paying $2.99 a month, give me a no. If you're paying $1 a month, raise your hand. Do you have any idea? Can you tell? Okay. So if you want to know how, I just saw a little shrug. How do I know? Let me show you how. Let me go back to the computer, although you can do it on your phone as well. So on your computer, when you go over here to the cloud manage, do it in so many different ways. You could also go back out over here and it'll talk about payment, I believe, over here. I'm not sure if it talks about payment there, but for sure here. You go to manage and change storage plan. See all your plan. Well, it'll tell you how much you're paying, $99 per month, basically. So that's enough to know. Okay. It'll tell you how much you're paying. If you want to change to pay more, then you would go over to see all plans and choose to pay more. Oh, and by the way, you can choose to pay more and then discover you're paying too much. So maybe you have all the space here and you've used only this tiny little bit of it, then you might actually be paying too much. You might be able, as long as it's less than 50, if it says you're using 25 of 200, well, you might as well go down to paying one a month because because that's 50 gigs. It goes from 50 gigabytes for $1 a month to 200 gigabytes for $2.99. So if you're using 100 gigabytes, then you need to be on the $2.99. Does that make sense? Anyway, you
Yeah.
kind of figure it out. If you're getting very near to your 200 gigabytes, then maybe you need to consider moving up to $9.99 or begin to get rid of some videos. That's the thing that fills it up.
Mm.
So now, was everyone able to see how much they're paying?
Yes.
Okay, so the hand is supposed to be, I'm paying $1 a month. The X for no means I'm paying $2.99. And then the yes means you're paying $9.99. So if you've been able to find it, yes means you're paying $9.99. X means you're paying $2.99. Raise your hand means you're paying 99 cents a month. So I want to make sure everyone is able to find it, not because I want to know what your finances are, but to see if you were able to follow and you found it. You know what I mean?
I'm still
So-
on my phone. It tells me how much I'm signed up for. It says I'm signed up for 128 gig. Does that tell
Nope,
how much?
that's your phone storage.
Oh,
One-
okay.
yeah,
And
this
it's
is phone storage. So
and phone
let
storage
me
is
back up. I'm sharing. Hold on. Here's my phone.
Right.
So if you are in the phone storage under general,
yeah,
iPhone storage, this is how much you paid when you bought your phone. You paid a phone that had a certain amount of space.
right.
And so that's 64 is this one, which is a very at the time that was a regular phone for an iPhone 10.
Right.
Phones now come more with like what you said, like more like 128.
28 gig.
So this is your phone, and you can't change that. The only way to change that is to buy another phone if you want more space. If your phone is running out of space, it's because you're saving a lot of movie. I mean, it's very hard to fill a phone now, and you'll know why once we
So-
explain where things
So
are.
this is
So-
on the actual phone. It's not on the iCloud.
Actual phone. So to go on the phone to your cloud, go back out of here, click on back, and then back again. And now scroll to the top and go to your iCloud on your phone.
Okay.
So back out and then go to the very top of the settings where you should see your name.
Setting, yes. Oh, okay. Apple account, iCloud, and more.
And then go down to the iCloud.
Okay.
Actually, over there, 50 gigabytes means you're paying $1 a month. 200 gigabytes means you're paying $2.99. What, or more, I think it's
200
gigabytes.
gigabytes.
What's
That's
that? 200 gigabytes.
100 is what I have on
Okay.
this.
So it says 100 of 200. What does it say here? Read me this number.
Mine says 57.9 of 200.
Okay, so you just passed the amount that would have been $1 a month because your storage is 57.
Okay,
So you wouldn't have been able to keep paying $1 a month. So you are correctly paying $2.99 a month.
okay, all right.
If you are at some point able to get rid of a ton of videos because you'd rather pay $1 a month, you can do that. But other than that, it's very hard to get rid of stuff. I mean, you have what you have on your phone, right? So
Yeah.
it's fine. But you have a lot of space from here to 200 to ever to before you would ever need to pay. And most people don't get there. So let me stop the share and let's see what the class is saying. Okay, so I'm seeing 2 people are paying $2.99. 2 people are paying $1, and then 3 people are paying $2.99. Georgia, you're paying $2.99, so you should give a little red no. And then Patricia and Afra. Hi, Afra. I know you were. I was sharing when you arrived. Let me change.
I'm
So
sorry,
you're paying. You're paying $9.99.
I believe so,
No,
yes.
he's paying $2.99.
You're paying $2.99. Okay.
Bob knows, ask Bob.
Knows. Yeah. So you should be a little X, a little red no. Patricia, I know, for example, does a huge amount of photography. She does videos, she's making photo books and stuff like that. So maybe that's why you're paying $9.99, Patricia?
I'm paying just 99 cents because I storage in the hard drive. So
Okay, so $9.99. So then you should raise your hand. The yes was for people who pay $9.99 per month, which is rare. That's why I'm checking in with you. Because if you're doing that and you don't need it, you should be backing off. I'm trying to kind of make sure that you don't spend unwisely. So switch it to a raise your hand.
Oh,
Okay. Rodney, you changed
Yeah.
that as well. Okay,
yeah, I'm paying $2.99 for 200 gigabytes.
great. So you're
And
up to X.
I'm using 116 at this point.
Perfect. So you're doing
Is
great.
that okay? I don't need to go move up, right?
Oh God, no,
Yeah,
you're
it's
fine.
like, yeah.
Carol, what about you? What are you spending a month? Or how much gigabytes does it say you have?
200.
Okay, so then you're not a yes, you're a red X. You're paying $2.99. So anyone who says that they have 200 gigabytes, you're paying $2.99 a month. Okay, so that would be a red X. So no one here is paying $9.99. If Yolanda were here, she's not here today. She's not paying $9.99, but this is an example. Her son is paying $9.99 and she's on that cloud. So someone in her family is paying $9.99 and they have like 7 family members on it, right? Because it's 2 terabytes, which is if 200 gigabytes times 10. 2 terabytes is 2,000, right? So they have 7 family members on that. So yeah, so that green check mark should also be a no. And then Sue, I don't see any response from you.
I don't pay anything.
So you are free. So do you have 5 gigabytes, it says?
I have 50.
Oh, 50. You're paying $1 a month. You're paying 99 cents a
I'm
month.
not paying anything. Or if I am, I don't know it.
It's coming out of your bank. It's coming out of your credit card. And it's so minute because it's $1 a month that you're not even
Actually,
aware.
it's coming out. My phone is attached to my friend's account. So
Ah.
I guess he's paying for it.
Oh,
He's paying $1 a month for you to have 50 gigabytes. Okay.
Okay.
Which,
So-
it's okay. You don't owe him many favors for that. That's fine. But if you end up needing to move up, you need to talk about it. Carol, you are paying $9.99 for 2 terabytes. Okay. So you are. And how many of those 2 terabytes, how much are you using? What does it say? You're muted, so I can't hear, but it says you are using how much of the 2 terabytes?
379.6 gigabytes.
379 gigabytes.
A lot of photography.
So you're above the 200 gigabytes. So you're paying $9.99. Okay, that makes sense. Good. There you go. Perfect example. Don't get scared, you guys. You can take photos galore. and still not go up more. It's videos. I know that you're laughing. So tell me, Carol, when we get to the file management part in Mac level 1, we can look a little bit more at what else is there. Because there's a chance that there's a lot of other stuff on your computer that's going to the cloud, and that is also taking up that space. And that's a decision that if it makes sense, then that's perfect. And if it doesn't make sense, we'll talk about it during the class to see what you can take off if you want to go back down to less than 200. But you're already at 399, you said, so you're already at double. So it would be hard to get rid of half of what you have in the cloud. So you're probably correct to being where you are. Okay, but we'll talk about that more. Remind me when we get to that,
Okay.
the storage in the cloud. All right. Cool. Well, thanks everyone for understanding now that the storage in the cloud is separate from your phone and your computer. You can't change how much stuff fits in your computer. The computer came, and when it's full, it's full. Phone, when it's full, it's full. At most, for a computer, you can get an external hard drive, which we're going to be doing. And Mac level 1, Mac level 2 deals with an external hard drive and backing up and stuff like that. But on the cloud, you can choose to keep paying more or less to have more space in the cloud or not, because that's a good thing. It's not held by strings, so it's not tied to anything. You just need to pay more. You get given more space. In that sense, it is a bit cloud-like.
This Diane, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, you said that as far as the memory is concerned, that both the iCloud and the iPhone should match up.
As far as account.
As far as the memory.
No. It has nothing to do with memory. Oh, the iCloud memory. I see what you mean. Yes. When you go to the iCloud portion of your computer or your phone, they'll reach your iCloud account, and they both have the same information. You should have, if you have 50 gigabytes on one, you should have 50 gigabytes on another. Is that not?
No, mine says, on my iCloud says 52.3 of 200. And on my phone, it says 112 of 128.
Okay, so in your phone, you're looking at your phone storage. 128 is your phone storage. Let me share one more time. Okay, so you are in your phone storage right now, because if it says 128, that's your phone. So you are here, you're under general on your phone, and you went to iPhone storage. This, if it says 128, that is the phone that you're holding in your hand. It is not the cloud. It is the phone you purchased, and you have 128 gigs. I have 64. Does that make sense?
But I thought you said they both should match
Hold
up.
on. No, because this is the phone, not the cloud. This is the iPhone storage. See how it says iPhone at the top?
Okay, well, I just thought you said that both of them should match up.
The cloud will match up. So listen again to my words for a second. This is equivalent to how much space is in your computer belongs to your computer. How much space is in your iPhone storage is what's in your phone. So if you do not connect your phone to the cloud, right? If for any reason your phone is not connected to the cloud, this is exactly how much space your phone has. If you lose your phone, guess what happens to all the stuff? Like if your phone falls and dies, all the stuff you have there, which you have 128, disappears and is gone forever. It's kind of like those people who have house fires and they lose all their negatives and lose everything. Because if the stuff that's in your phone isn't connected to the cloud, the moment your phone dies, so let's make a little skull here. Say that your phone dies. I'm not very good at drawing with my mouse. You get the idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you lose everything that's on your phone. And mainly like all your photos and everything. If it's not connected to the cloud, your contacts, anything you use your phone for disappears. So your phone has to be connected to the cloud in order to not lose all this stuff. So this stuff doesn't get lost. Then, and now I'm going to take you, follow me, go to this back. Okay, go up here to the word back. And then back one more time. This is the general settings, scroll to the top. And now, tell me when you're with me, this should have your name. It should say Apple account.
Right.
Okay, So this is now connecting to the cloud. So now click on that. Here we are. This is your Apple account. Okay, this is your Apple ID account. Now click on the word iCloud. And even here you see the number 50 gigabyte. That's the space that you have on the cloud. And that's how much of it is used.
Okay, 52.3 of 200.
Good. So you're paying $2.99.
Okay.
That
gotcha.
number has to be identical to when you get to the system settings on your computer. Okay, which should say exactly the same thing. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
yeah, I was looking at the difference between the iCloud account on my phone and the regular account on my phone.
Yeah, it's not an account. The other one is how much, it's like, did you buy, and let me clarify. When I say the hardware, I mean it as in your computer that you purchased, is hardware. The phone that you purchased is hardware. Those things, once you buy them, you can't make them any bigger. It's like some people buy a house with 2 bedrooms and some with the 5 bedrooms and some with a 3-car garage and some with no garage. In real life, you could probably build more bedrooms, but you cannot add more space to your phone or to your computer. They come with what they come. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Cloud, on the other hand, is where you can keep paying more for, and that is the same for all your devices. The size of the cloud is your Apple account for any device that you own. Any.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
So
Cool.
when we're looking at the Apple account information with the iCloud, that actually, the storage covers both what your phone sends and what your computer sends.
And if you have an iPad or a smartwatch, yes. And
I
we're
don't have those, but
I
I just
know,
have a
but for
computer.
those for anyone else listening in,
Okay.
it's any of your Apple devices.
So
Okay.
so the thing that
Because think about this, and this is the part that might blow your mind. If you have a photo that's on your phone and your computer, it's really one photo.
Okay.
But the cloud only has it one time. It's just that it's the same, you see it in both places. And this is the part that will get much clearer to you in Mac level 1. Okay, so right now, just bear with me. If I meet someone on the streets and they go, oh, call me tomorrow, and I go, give me your contact number. I'm on my phone, and I write down, you know, Jane Doe phone number.
Right.
If my phone is connected to the cloud,
Right.
and if my computer is connected to the cloud,
It'll show up on your contacts.
then on your computer, suddenly you have Jane Doe's phone number.
Okay.
Why? Because your phone sent it to the cloud sent it to your computer. Does that make sense, you guys?
Okay.
So it's one phone number. The computer isn't remembering one phone number from the phone, one for the computer, one for the iPad, one for the smartwatch. It's one phone number that exists in the cloud, and it's being kind of broadcast, so to say, to all of your devices. Does that make sense, you guys? So the information is not duplicate. And this is the most important part you need to hear. So if I go in and I change her phone number because she moved, no matter what device I change it on, it changes on the other devices, right? That's good news. Well, what happens if I decide to make space and delete her phone number on the phone? What's going to happen to it on all the other devices?
It gets
from everywhere.
Yeah.
Because it's one piece of information that lives in the cloud that gets projected everywhere. So to the general question, Georgia, that you asked, there's a way around that with photos or not. But we're going to talk about that in the photos class, which, by the way, starts this afternoon. If anyone else need
I have to figure out how I'd like to take it, but I think I have to wait till next.
Okay. So then
till the fall.
when we get to the Mac level 1 class, if you're taking that one, I'll explain enough more about the cloud that you'll understand what happens with the photos more. But this is important. If you delete a photo from your phone and you are set up through the cloud the way Apple wants you to, and by default sets you up, then it'll also delete from your cloud and from your computer and from your watch and from everywhere. There's an exception to that, but that I won't be able to explain until you take the class. So if you're not connected, and we'll find that out in the Mac Level 1 class, then you can have a phone on your computer and a photo on your computer and a photo on your phone, and when you delete one, they don't affect each other. But the bad news is that means that they're not being sent to each other either. And the worst news is that photo on your phone, once you delete it, it's gone forever, truly gone. It's nowhere else. So you really need to mean it that you delete it. But again, that will become much clearer in Mac Level 1 and will become crystal clear in the photos class. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Because I would like to, I have billions of photos and I would like to not carry around so many in my phone because I don't need access to them all. I'd rather have them.
There's settings on your phone that can minimize that and stuff like that. So again, that's all part of the photos
Yeah.
class. So don't worry. Let me just make sure that they're not just in your phone. Let me make sure. Do you see those photos on your computer at all?
Some of them. I don't think I see them all.
Okay, so then you don't have it set up, which is relatively bad, because what that means is that if you do lose your phone, you might lose all those billions of photos. So yeah, that's something that maybe once we get to Mac Level 1, which is only in 2 more weeks,
Right.
enough more explanation will happen that maybe at that point you can work on your photos as well. Okay. All right. So guys, for the rest of you, if you want to take the class this afternoon and you haven't signed up yet, the class is the photos class that's starting at 1:30. I can show you online really quickly. Well, basically I just showed you kind of how to get there, but I can help you type in the CRN and then remind me, and I'll send you the Zoom link, because the Zoom link's already gone out to all students, but I can help you. No, that's not true. It's full. It's at 24 people. So if you need to sign up, you need to do it through my signed form that you need to send to the office. So if you want to sign up for the photos class, I will send me an email. I'll send you a signed form. You can do that after class. You can do it tomorrow. Remind me that you're signing up, and I'll send you the Zoom link anyway, even if today you're not signed up. Okay? For the 1:30 p.m. class. All right. But you need to email me so that I can send you the form and all that, because I won't remember. If you tell me right now in the chat, it's gone after class is over. So I need to get a message from you.
It's not it's not stored in your iCloud, right?
No.
You delete it.
Actually, a few things I do need to take pencil and paper note. Like Georgia needs the link, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Cool. So now where's more clarity, hopefully, between what's the phone storage, what's the computer storage, and what's the iCloud storage. Okay. So does everyone feel confident if I were to say that, you know, what's the iPhone storage, what's the cloud storage, and what's the computer storage? Does everyone go, yeah, I got that? Give me a yes. If you're like, clear on that, give me a no. And especially Carol, who's on the other system, I didn't show you today on the other system how to check the cloud. So let me do that really quickly, because I'm going to make sure. So here's my system preferences on the other computer, although I see that you just said yes. But anyway, here we go. For anyone else who ends up with an older system, here's your Apple ID. And here's the 50 gigabytes of iCloud storage available. Okay. So yeah, if you end up in an overview, you click on iCloud right there. So it looks a bit different, but it's exactly the same thing. But I see, Carol, that you already said yes, and Jennifer isn't here. So it's just you. All right. Sue, yeah, your hand's up.
I know how to find the storage amount on my iPhone. I don't remember how to find it on my computer.
Okay, so you open your settings.
Settings,
Yep, you go to your system settings on your computer, you said, right?
right? I'm on general.
Okay, so on general, this is the storage for your computer.
Okay,
Okay, right there, storage for your computer. And storage for your cloud is at the very top under your name. So your name is always
Uh-huh.
your iCloud account. And there's iCloud.
okay.
And that's the storage for your iCloud.
Oh,
Storage for your iCloud.
Great, perfect.
Okay,
Yep, thanks.
you're welcome. Thanks for checking in on that one. All right, looks like everyone else has given me a yes. So we're going to move on. Basically, it's understanding that these are two separate devices plus the cloud, which you probably never even thought about until you took this class, but it is a place and it is an item that holds stuff and it has its own size. Okay. So when you own any device, even if you own one device like Julie, you have a cloud. If all you own is one device, you have a cloud. If you own 4 devices, you have one cloud. Okay. You still have the same one cloud. All right. Now, let's go find that cloud on the internet. What? Yep. What if, God forbid, an earthquake, a flash flood, something happens, takes away, fortunately, you're safe, but takes away your house and you lose all your devices. You happen to, it's nighttime and your phone was charging and your battery, your watch was charging and your iPad was somewhere in the living room and your computer's on your desk, if you have all of that, and you got out with your life and your dog, hopefully, but not your stuff. Have you lost every piece of data? Good news. It's all on the cloud.
Yeah.
So you go to the Apple store. Hopefully you get insurance. You buy another phone. You buy another computer. You type in your Apple account. That's why that's the one you don't want to forget. And your password. So you don't want to forget your Apple account and your password. And your computer gets flooded in with all your stuff and your phone gets flooded in with all your stuff. And you're, at least where it comes to digital data, you're back where you started. Might have a bit more issues with the house. You want to go there, but your digital data, your photos and everything will be, whatever was in the cloud will now be in your devices. So if your stuff is not in the cloud, like if your photos are not all in the cloud or stuff like that, then yeah, you might have a loss. But if everything was in the cloud, you'll be fine. So let's really quickly go to that cloud. So everyone open, and now I'm going to share my screen. We're going to open Safari. And if you prefer to open Chrome or anything like that, yeah, go ahead and do that. But since we're in a Mac class and I'm teaching you how to use your Mac devices, I would prefer for you to try to use Safari because I'm here to guide you through it. And then you can do the same thing on Chrome. Chrome and Safari are 2 different brands of what we call browsers, internet browsers, okay? So a browser is a kind of application that helps you. It's look at the internet. So there's also Firefox. There's a couple of others. So we're going to go here to a browser, any browser, and we're going to type in iCloud.com. iCloud.com. Hit return. And this, if you didn't bring in your computer, you left it at home, you traveled to Europe, you left your computer at home, you left your iPad at home, but you brought your phone with you. But someone steals your phone. So you don't need to have this major disaster. You could have just left everything at home and you're in Europe and someone steals your phone. How do you get to your stuff? How do you call your family? Because you know how we don't remember people's phone numbers anymore. How do you do that? All you need to know is get to a computer in the hotel, at a friend's house, go to iCloud.com. Okay, guys, when you're at iCloud.com, please give me a yes. I don't want to move forward until I know that everyone has been able to open a browser and get to iCloud.com. Okay, iCloud.com on whatever browser. My preference is Safari, but whatever browser you normally use. Diane, how are you doing? Since I don't see you, I need to just kind of verbally check in with you every now and then because if I don't see a yes or a no, I need to know that you're still there and following along. Perfect. Now, is that hand because you have a question or is that, oh, it's changed into a yes. Okay. Rodney, how are you doing? Did you
Yeah,
check?
not well. I don't know how to get to the iCloud.com. I see the Zoom workplace and then I see the
Okay.
Safari.
So then up at the top where it says Zoom, click in there and then just replace it with iCloud. Just type iCloud.com and then hit return.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Carol, how are you doing?
Okay. Now it says iCloud Photos. Is that right?
It should say iCloud. Well,
Uh,
yeah, it can say iCloud.com. It'll say
Yeah.
each time you sign in, it says something else.
okay.
Carol?
It's wanting my password. Just a minute.
I haven't signed in yet. Just want to make sure that you know how to get to iCloud.com. That's all.
Oh, I got there and then
Okay. So now
I'm being welcomed.
here. Now we need to sign in. Okay. Now here's the part that I want to clarify. You guys, you probably can sign in easily. Listen, don't sign in yet. Look at me. You can probably sign in easily. Why? Because you're on your computer that knows you. Now imagine your computer died or that you're in Europe and you're at a hotel and you go to iCloud.com, it will not know you. So you will need to know your password. And this is the part that people don't really get until they need it. So when I say sign in right now, it's going to ask me, do you want to sign in with your account? It already knows what my account is. Why? Because I'm in my own computer. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So if I don't know that that's my iCloud account and I'm in the hotel in Europe, how do you'll have to type in what's your iCloud account. So you need to know what your iCloud account is. If you're at your daughter's house, you're visiting in Tennessee, you need to know what your iCloud account is. Not only that, but you don't have your Touch ID on someone else's computer. You need to know your own password. So right now I'm going to get in because my computer knows me and boom, I'm in. But that's the step that you can't ignore, the knowing your own password, because the whole point is that your computer won't be with you if it's an emergency, if you need to access it from afar because you left your computer at home and now you need to access it, or because your phone died or was stolen or whatever. Sue, I see you kind of going, so what's happening? Did you go to iCloud.com?
I'm stuck with your what you're showing is on my computer and I can't get it off so I can get into Safari.
So remember that you had to minimize your Zoom. You're watching me on one of them, and on the other one, you can do the work. So on the one that you're doing the work, on one of them, you're watching me, so you don't touch that one. But on the one that you're doing the work on your computer, you can go to Zoom and you can go to those three little dots at the left side of your Zoom and click on the middle one so that it kind of minimizes, it disappears like that. I can't do it to Zoom because my Zoom doesn't share itself, but you can do it to your own Zoom. Does that make sense? You have to hide the Zoom on the computer that you're doing the work.
Oh, okay.
So
no, that didn't do it. Yellow.
The yellow one.
Well, that diminished it. It didn't zoom it down.
Well, as long as it's diminished enough that you can now open your own Safari, go for it.
No available windows.
Yeah, so now go down to your Safari.
Yeah.
and from your dock and click on Safari for it to open up.
No, that's what I did, and it says no available windows.
You have that whole desktop thing again. Okay, can you go up to the apple? Read to me, what word does it say next to the apple?
Safari,
Okay, so then go to File and say New Window.
new window. Okay,
Good, now type iCloud.com. All right. So here we go. If you lost all your devices, or if they got stolen, or you're visiting your daughter and you need to check one of your files. We'll talk about files and all that stuff later. Then guess what? This is
Okay.
it. You've entered your iCloud. And if your photos were on the cloud, then this is what your phone and your computer have. These are your files. These are your contacts. This is your calendar. We're going to learn how to use all of these in Mac Level 2. We're going to learn about all of the files in Mac Level 1, but I'm just showing you that this is your stuff in the cloud. So you lost. This is all the stuff that's going to go back into your phone and your computer once you buy a new one. If what happened is that it broke.
So do you want us to sign into our iCloud account?
Yeah. Please sign in to see what's there. And in your case, it might be clear if you only have a few photos here that your stuff is not, that the stuff is in your phone, you shouldn't delete unless you do put it in the cloud, or you will lose it. Yes, Julie?
Okay, I typed in my password and everything, and I get a screen that says iCloud terms and conditions. Welcome to iCloud, and it has all this legal gobbledygook. Then
Yeah.
it says agree, disagree, or download.
Yeah. Go ahead and say agree, because you probably haven't accessed it forever, and it's basically every now and then it checks in with you to make sure that
Okay,
they write something else in the news and the legal thing, and you need to agree again. And if you read the small writing, go for it.
okay, now it says my name, my account, Apple ID account, and then it has Drive, upload your first file, notes, test in class.
Yeah. So you have never put your stuff, because remember in
Right,
that class that you've chosen not to use the cloud. So your cloud should be pretty empty. All your
okay,
stuff is in your computer, and if your computer dies, you have hopefully your time
yeah, I have
machine.
my backup.
Yeah.
My-
Now, that won't save you from a storm, but let's hope that that will never happen. But it will save you, but when you do buy a new computer and you connect to your cloud, your new computer will have what this has, unless you transfer from your time machine, which is fine. There's always a plan B, right? And she's on plan B, you guys. But she doesn't have an iPhone, so she doesn't need the cloud to send stuff from her computer to her phone. She has an Android. Does that make sense? So
Okay.
it doesn't affect her. Okay. My
So
husband,
should I leave my screen
my
open?
husband has an iPhone, but
Should I
doesn't-
leave my screen open then while you're doing this?
Well, I mean, yeah, you might, you don't have an iPhone. I mean, you could, just so you know, you could have your stuff from your computer up here if you wanted to, but that's a Mac Level 1 question.
Okay.
So it would be fine to do that. But if you don't, and you don't want that, then yeah, you don't need it.
Okay, thank you.
So my husband has an iPhone, but he has a PC computer. So again, the system that we're talking about here is when you have Mac, Apple, Mac, that kind of thing. But there is a way on a PC to put an iCloud app, and you could on a PC put an iCloud app and still access your iCloud stuff. I don't want to get that too complicated, but in case that's something you're interested, I can give you some links to look into that, in which case you can do that. Anyway, on your phone though, on the other hand, you can't have your iCloud account because it's an Android and they just are not compatible. All right. Okay, so I'm going to clear your answers. Looks like everyone's gotten in here. Now, as we get into the next few classes, Mac Level 1, Mac Level 2, we will avidly be using the cloud. now I just wanted you guys to have an understanding of it, know where it is, know about it, know its existence, and not to think that it's not affecting you, because guess what? One of the main things that the cloud does is, even if you have nothing else on it, it backs up your phone and your iPads automatically, so that if you do lose your phone, there's always a backup to download and reset up your new phone. Okay. And that's even if you choose to, I mean, 99% of the people never come here to iCloud.com. This is only if it's kind of insurance. It's there. It's always there. Your stuff is in there. But if you don't have your devices with you, A, because of a disaster, B, because you lost them, C, because you travel and you forgot them at home, hey, the stuff is here. But other than that, we don't really need to come here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we can sign out now. We can go to this little area and sign out if you want, and that's fine. Now, before we sign out though, oh, that's my alarm for a break. I did set up my break alarm, so give me a second here. For those of you who don't know if you know your password, like if you really had to do this from your daughter or your son's home or from the hotel where you don't have your devices anymore, you do need to know not just your Apple account, but your password. So in order to do that, let's head over to Manage Apple Account. And how I got that? I went from here, instead of signing out, I went to Manage Apple Account. Otherwise, you can type in Manage Apple Account somewhere there. Manage Apple Account. And over here, see, I haven't updated my password since 2021.
You're not sharing your screen, at least I
Yeah.
don't see it.
Oh, thank you for telling me that. When I say there and I'm not sharing, make sure to tell me. Okay, so back to back here. So I went up to the far right corner where I have a little flowers, but you probably have the initial letter of yours, whatever. And when I click on that, I could sign out, or let's go to Manage Apple Account. If you found it, managed to find Manage Apple Account, give me a yes. Otherwise, you can type it in. You can find other ways, but I want to make sure that you can find Manage Apple Account. I'm waiting for the yes before I move forward. So if you got it, please give me a yes. Diane, Carol, Mason, how's it going? Diane, you there? You need a hand?
Can you go through the step again? Are you in the setting?
Went to the settings over here.
Oh, over
Go to the
there.
settings.
Let's see.
Right underneath it says Manage Apple Account, and it
Oh,
opens a
okay.
different page. Carol Sauceda? Got it? Okay, Diane, I'm not hearing back from you and I don't see you, so I'm not sure if you're there. So I'll let you answer. I'll move on, but yeah. So yeah, Bob mentioned in the chat, so many people forget their password. Yeah, it's important because this is your recovery. This is if you truly run into trouble, and you might see that it even says account recovery over here. So it is so important. This area here is so important. First of all, here's where you would set a account security where you give two different, you give information so that which of your devices have it, password, if you need to update it, look into it, it'll send you an email. And what email? Maybe the email it's sending you to is an email that's really old and you don't use anymore. So if you want to change it, you would have to change. I'm not going to get in here because I don't want, I'll stop my share for a minute so I can describe what's in there, but I don't necessarily want to open it and have it recorded right now. Account recovery. Legacy contact. Okay. All these things are very important. So watch. Legacy contact, you guys. Everyone that you are very close to. like my husband has me and I have him. If you pass away, they won't have access to any of your stuff anymore. And what if you have photos? What if your husband has photos that you can never see anymore because they were in his account? So Legacy Contact allows one person to have access to the Apple account of another person, I think for up to a year after they pass away. I'm not exactly sure how long, but it's not infinite, it's finite. So yeah, not set up in this case. So how to change your legacy contacts. So now you want to continue on the device, keep following the instructions. Look into this while we're talking, look into this between here and Thursday, what these things are. I'm going to stop my share right now because I want to go into the password and account recovery, but I don't want to, I want to make sure that it doesn't show my password. So I'm going to stop my share for a minute. If I go into password, it says, oh, I have a stolen device protection set on in my devices. So it says your information can't be changed on the web. Okay, that's true. I set it up on my phone so that no one can just get into the web and change my information. I need to do it from my phone. Well, but if my phone was stolen, that's not going to work, right? So I need to then go through account recovery. But here's the deal. That's in case someone does want to do it as a hack. Let me get you, Afra. Let me rename you for a second. Here we go. And rename. Okay. So then I have to go do it through each device that has my account. And then under account recovery, you have to set up a recovery contact. So a recovery key, a recovery contact. Start reading all these things, read about them, understand what they are. And there is a thing called a recovery key, which is a 28 character code that you should keep in a safe place. Now that safe place should be some very safe place in your home, but maybe you should also have it in someone else's home in a very safe place so that if it is an earthquake, like in the past when the cloud didn't exist, I had a hard drive here and a hard drive at my mother-in-law's 2 hours away. And every time we went to visit, I would switch hard drives to kind of have my data in some other place. Now I have it on the cloud, but there's all these different settings that you can do to keep your account safe and to have it be recoverable. Does that make sense? I want you guys to just read up on these things and explore them. Notice that every time, let me share again. And then we're going to take our break. When I click on, for example, Legacy Contact, it says it's not set up, and then it says learn more. So if I click on learn more, it explains all about Legacy Contacts. I go back in here and I'm trying to set out the account recovery contact, learn more, recovery key, learn more. So I click on learn more and it explains how to set up an account recovery process. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So try to set up, my computer, this is a teaching computer. That's why I don't have these things set up. I probably should set some up for samples, but my real computer, my husband and I have each other as Legacy Contacts. I have an account recovery system set up. I have a key, things that just in case there's a plan B. Account security, two-factor authentication. This is really important. So whenever I go into an account, if it's not my own computer, if I were to do this from a hotel, then it would send me a code to my phone. Well, what if I lost my phone? Well, then there's some other devices that are trusted and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? So you want to have ways around, because if you go to Apple and say, help me, I don't have my password, they don't have your password either, right? And if you set up your password in 2021 and you've been getting a message that the password has been hacked and they tell you to update it and you updated it, they send an email to the email that you gave them in 2021 or that you gave them in 2017 when you first set up your account for you to recover your password. Well, guess what? What if you're not using that email anymore? So you need to keep changing the information in case you don't have, so that's a primary email. If nothing else, the most important thing you need to do right now, under email and phone numbers, click on email. This one you can do right now, and then we're going to go on break. Go to email and phone numbers and add another email. And if you don't have a second email, we're going to talk about that in the next class in Mac level 1. We talk about having a second email. Put your husband's email, put something else, because if for any reason they need to check in with you or a phone number and you can't reach it through one number, then maybe they can reach you through the other number or through the other email address. And especially if the email that they have is an old one. Does that make sense? So of all things that you can do right later and read them up, this one you can do right now. Give them another way to contact you. Because if the phone that you have that they stole in Europe is the one that you don't have anymore, how can they send you a text to your phone to recover it? Because your phone has been stolen. So until you go to the store and buy and get another one with a different number, you need to have them maybe contact your daughter or your husband or some trusted person at another number, and then you get the code from them. Does that make sense?
So should this maybe be another person, or should it be could you use your pipeline address?
You can use your pipeline address as long as you don't forget how to get into your pipeline. Exactly. Yeah, that's a good idea. Your pipeline is an email address that you own. Perfect.
Right.
Give 'em your pipeline email address.
I'm not sure I remember what it is. I'll have to find it. And the phone number can be
I
a
can give,
different person.
hold on. I can give you what your email, Georgia, give me a second.
Okay.
I don't know other things of yours, but I do know your pipeline. It's
Okay.
GW Sargent at
Okay.
GW Sargent at pipeline.sbcc.edu. I have everyone's pipeline email address if you need it.
At
pipeline.sbcc.edu, and then check it really, really well to make sure that it's not there's no typo. And they'll probably send you something to your pipeline to confirm that that's your email and that kind of
pipeline.sbcc.edu.
.edu.
Okay.
You'll find in my email class that I will urge everyone to get at least a second email, which your pipeline is a second one. So in which case, at least a third. Does anyone else need to know their pipeline if they're doing
It's
what?
saying this email address is not available. Choose a different address.
Oh, is it asking you to create one?
No, it just says choose. I put in pipeline and, or what we just said.
Let me see if I try to do that to mine.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I got.
I think that they're trying to, what they're saying here is create a new email.
Oh,
Oh, so this is different.
so we would actually be creating a new email account?
You know what? I'll look into that because I'm surprised by this. Because I tried to put in my pipeline one, or is it maybe because it's a pipeline one? Let me see.
Maybe it doesn't want to let you use an EDU.
Let me see. I'm just putting in another one that I own.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably, you know why? Yeah, I put a different one in. I put a Gmail in and it worked. Probably, you know what? City College probably has protection.
Okay.
Want to get liability and stuff like that. So I just put in a different Gmail that I own and it worked. So
I don't have another, I have a Gmail and I have an iCloud apparently. So that's two anyway. But I don't have another
So we're gonna talk about that. Let me.
Okay.
So see, now it's asking me for a verification code. So I'm going into that email that I gave it, and I am going to give it a code. Here it is. I'm getting an email to that email that I gave it, and it says Apple wants to verify your email address, and it sent me a code. Let's see if I can share. See you guys.
We see that screen.
And go and this I got on my phone, 81363. Oh, click in there. 813632. This is called two-factor authentication.
Okay.
Okay. And so there it is. Now there's a second one there as a just in case. Okay. And a phone number, yeah, if you have someone that's very trusted and you put their phone number, they're going to get a text, and then later you can check in with them and just say, hey, just in case, I'm putting you in as my second contact in case I ever lose the info. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
All right. So,
Deanna,
yes.
is that a secure email that we just put in? I mean, it's only Apple would have it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't need to put in my one like you had recommended for Target and stuff like that.
Oh God, in this case, okay, and she's talking about a junk mail account that we'll talk about when we get to mail. Here's the news. Say that you know that you gave him a junk email address. 5 years from now when you need it and you haven't updated it, when for some reason you need to use your recover email address, which is that one, then you need to remember to go and check your junk address. Other than that, give him a good one. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, I do check my junk email every now and then because I do use it like that. I put it sometimes as my recovery address, and whenever I send it, I have to go and turn it on.
So this email address, we should keep with our list of other email addresses that it's a Apple iCloud account. You know, because I have a couple emails and I'm
Yeah. It basically, if at any point you need to recover and it's sending it to your phone and your phone disappeared because it got stolen, then you can send it, okay, send it instead to and they'll say, where do you want me to send it? You can say, send it to the second email that I wrote. Then you have to go on some device to access that email and get it from there. So as long as it's an email that you can access,
okay.
then that's good. Does that make sense? And
Yes,
glad that
yeah.
Georgia asked about Pipeline because we tried it and it didn't work. And that's probably because Pipeline doesn't allow, I guess because you're not an eternal student. And so it would make no sense to put in an email that will not be yours once you're not a student anymore. I mean, yes, we probably are eternally at City College, but regular for, students who go there for 2 or 3 years credit, after a while, they're done. And school doesn't keep carrying their account for 10 years. If we have been taking classes here for 10 years, our student accounts are still available, but they don't have it set up for having this be your eternal phone number.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, Bob?
Yeah, so I just added 2 legacy accounts, and also I printed out a contact access key to give to each of my legacy accounts. For a chance I die, they would take a picture of the what do they call it, code. I should just show it. It's this.
Put it near your face. Okay, so that's a piece of paper.
Yeah,
They can now access, they need that piece of paper or that
they
code
need this piece of paper, and they need to take a picture of the
of that QR code.
QR code. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, and then it can be put together with papers like important papers, documents, wills,
Yeah.
safety deposit boxes, that kind of stuff. And you hand it to the people who you are okay with them having access to your stuff. And if you don't want anyone to ever access your stuff, don't do this. But you guys, I've had a student who first came to my classes distraught because her husband had died and she had no way to get into his email, into the bank accounts, into the photos, into the bills were coming, sending email. It was a disaster because They had never set it up that she could access any of the stuff that was ultimately for both of them. And so it became very complicated, you guys. So make sure that if there's stuff that's important in there that you don't want lost, that someone can access it. Because if they come to your computer and your computer set up without a password, they can go in and save your stuff. But if your computer has a password, even a 4 little number code, and you never gave it to them, that computer's locked to them, you know, and thus all your stuff and photos, everything that you have is locked. So yeah, okay. Yeah, and it says there, I think it's for 1 year, right, Bob, since you just did it? It has a limit.
No, it doesn't have a timeline on it.
I think I read that it's about a 1 year, but I'm not sure about that. So
Maybe.
in fact, let
It
me
just
see
says
more.
to use this after my death. To remove the activation lock.
They need your death certificate. It accounts. Your Apple account won't work anymore. Learn. Yeah, has a limited time. Oh, 3 years from where
Oh, okay.
Please note that if you have more than one, any one of them can individually make decisions about your account, including permanently deleting it. So yeah, what if one of them deletes it and the other one doesn't? Make sure that they are friendly to each other and get along.
Yeah.
Okay.
So but if they also knew the password for my computer, like to log on,
Okay.
they can. That's easy. That's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the setting up a recovery key is pretty much you having your own key that you could get in if necessary to your whole account. But it's
Okay.
much better to know your password and not to have to do that.
Yeah.
All like safety ways around all of this which now you understand is much more than just, oh, the cloud, I don't need it. It's basically all the data that's on all your is what you need to access to. Okay.
I have my password on my phone, because I always have the phone with me. So
yep. Until perchance
maybe it's stolen. Yeah.
That phone, it gets stolen, it stops working, it falls on you're on a boat and it falls into the ocean. Who knows? Anyway.
Actually, mine is so easy. It's just 4 digits, so I can always remember it.
But someone once told me, in the trip I just took, you had to, if you came in after their doors were closed, you had to put in a code. And at one place I wasn't given the code. And when I came back in from dinner, I couldn't get in. And I was banging on the door, banging on the door, banging on the door. Finally, like after 5 minutes of banging, one of the other people who was there came to the door all angry and said, well, it's just so easy. It's just, and it was like 0001. I'm like, yeah, but if I was never given it, how do I know? So no matter that it's easy, if you don't know it, I can guess 2,500,000 times. I'm like, I was never given it. It's not about how easy it is, right? It's a number that I would have never guessed. So anyway, yeah. Anyway, let's take a break. This is all for you to be reviewing. I'm not gonna address this anymore. If there's specific questions, I will, but this is up to you guys now that you see where it is. There's other places when you get to this place. It's about starting to research these things and learning what to do, when to do. And yes, if you have questions, do it, but it won't be part of my class anymore. I will look into maybe putting this kind of information in a new class. But it's not right now. So I won't, as is showing you, this is something that, in fact, those of you who've taken my classes many times, I've always mentioned these accounts, but I've never shown you this stuff. But more and more, I think it's important to be showing you this, but there's so much more I need to teach you that you're kind of on your own to review, research, and apply when appropriate. Begin to get yourself some recovery keys, some legacy contacts, some stuff like that to help you. Most importantly, to help you now. The legacy contacts, when you're passed away, who cares? Others will care, not you. But the account recovery, password, and account security, that's for you now. Okay? So let's take a break. It's 11:09. That one I think I can figure out because that's near to 11:10. So that would be 11:25. Yeah.
Right.
Sounds
Back
good.
at 11:25. Oh, and I wrote 35, although I meant 25 a.m.
That'd be all right.
in the chat. Let's take our 15-minute break. See you guys in 15. All right, welcome back. I just noticed a little bit late that I've been wearing glasses on top of my head and glasses on my face. So if you ever see that happening, please let me know. All right. Here we go. All right. And Yolanda, you're joining us. Hi, Yolanda. I know that you guys were trying to join while I was on break, so I hope you're still there. Let's see. All right. So welcome back from break. I'm going to clear your answers from before. If you are here, but you're not turning on your video, give me a yes so I know you're there. And if I see you, then I see you, so you're fine. But if your like little video is not turned on and you are there, give me a yes, like Georgia just did, Mason just did. Thank you. Diane, you're there. Okay, great. Yolanda, you tried to join us during break. So there you go. So if you were waiting for a while, it's because it was break time. So hi, nice to see you. Look at that rose behind you guys. I should get some pretty things behind me instead of this blurred background. But anyway. Okay, so most of you guys are either back or on your way back. I see that. Patricia, are you there? All right, perfect. Okay, great. So let me clear your answers. Wonderful. Okay, so let's head back to the computer now. And let's start working on some of the basics of the computer system. All right, so it'd be Sue.
What?
We're hearing that double.
I'm so what?
Yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to turn this. Okay, I'm gonna mute you. I've muted you so that I can talk. Looks like you turned on the sound on your second device that before you didn't have, because now I see it on again. And even though it's muted, it's on. So you need to leave the audio so that that stuff doesn't happen. So you're muted, so I can't hear you if you talk to me, if you have questions, because I couldn't talk over that. I see your mouth moving, but I can't hear you. Just so you know, I see your mouth moving, but I can't hear you.
I didn't have a question.
Oh, okay.
And you didn't get an echo then.
Because I wasn't hearing you, but now I was hearing you. I've got the echo.
I learned how in the break to turn out my audio from my iPad.
Okay, I'm muting you again. See how when you talk, everything repeats and repeats and repeats? It's because you have sound on both your devices. So you need to go to the one that's your computer, not your iPad, your computer, and you had it done before, so I know you can do it again, and go to the little audio button and not cross it out or on. That just mutes it, but the problem is still there. You need to find that little caret that's right next to it and say leave computer audio, and then we can hear you through your other one. All right. Okay, good. Now your sound is off. Now you need to turn on the sound on your other device. There we go. Perfect. You're set. I can hear you. You need to send up the volume. Yeah, I don't know what the solution is. That is the device that you're hearing me through, which I believe is your iPad. You need to turn the volume up. Is it your iPad that you're hearing me through, or is it your computer?
So it's on my iPad, but I can't turn my iPad volume up enough to hear you.
Then you need to find a way to turn the sound off on your iPad and turn on the computer. Because the fact that how well you listen to me or not is on your, it's your volume. And right now there's like this bad jiggle sound. Are you all hearing the bad, like, crackle sound when she speaks? Yeah. So the
That's
sound
horrible.
is probably bad. Go to your, we should find a way how to mute your sound how to disconnect your sound on your iPad. Here's the best thing you can do, Sue. Can you hear me? Sue, can you hear me? Listen. Okay, so the best thing you can do is sign out of your iPad, leave the class, click the email again, the Zoom to sign in, and then when it says connect to audio, say no. And okay, I'm gonna type it. Read the chat. Okay, so I wrote the steps on the chat. Okay. Once, not twice. Okay. All right, guys. Let's continue. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So now this is the basic Sequoia background. When I say the basic Sequoia background, what do I mean? Well, each operating system comes with a background that's native to that application. So where do we see all this? Again, in our system settings. So let's open our system settings. For Carol, it'll be your system preferences. And by the way, Jennifer, who is the other one with the old system, is on jury duty. I checked my email, which is why she's not here, but okay. Oh, which reminds me, because she did sign in for a little bit, and that's why I was wondering where she was. Please do that. Did you notice that in your email? Let me see. In the email that I sent you this morning, I wrote something that's new that I was using at the beginning of last year. I said, remember that if you cannot make it in to the entire class, at least try to sign in at some point. So even if you're traveling, you can open up your email on your phone, click on the link, and your phone will connect you to the class. And I understand that if you're traveling, the last thing you need to do is watch a class. Sometimes you're bored, you can do it. But the whole point is that if you are registered in the class, but you are not attending, as far as the school and most importantly, the state is concerned, they don't have to pay for the class. So the state doesn't reimburse the school for your attendance, thus the school doesn't get money for your being here. It's you being in class that counts. So if you're just registered and you come only once out of 6 classes, we get only paid for one, not me, Diana Musaki, I get paid my salary, but the school doesn't get money from the state for your attendance unless you are present. And thus the school gets more and more into debt, and then we get to stop teaching these free classes. So it's important that you attend, even if, because the class is recorded, you attend for a short time. It gets recorded that you are here. Then you leave the class and then you watch the recording. So you get the knowledge and you were attended on, you were present on the record. Now, I understand that if you're having surgery, you can't do that, but just about any other circumstance, you have the plumber, you have an appointment, sign in for half an hour, sign in for 2 hours if you can't make the whole thing. But if you really can't and you just like jury duty, then during the break, sign in on the Zoom. Once your name is registered, sign out again, and then that counts. Does that make sense? So please do that. Anyway, so I had seen Jennifer at the beginning and then I didn't see her anymore. And then on the email, she told me she had jury duty, but that's the right way to do it. Does that make sense? Because she couldn't communicate that way. All right. back to what I was saying about the system settings. Now we're going to talk about our computer, just our computer. We're done with the cloud for a bit. We're just talking about our computer, and all these different things here are about how we set up our computer. So this class, the intro class, talks and specifically about the basics of our computer that we're going to start talking a little bit more, but also about the settings of our computer. And general is pretty important. There's a lot of other stuff here that we're going to get to, some of them, but the most important ones we already talked about right now. And then as we go down, accessibility, it has a ton of choices. We're going to come to a few of them. Appearance has some choices. Apple Intelligence has choices, right? So there's, stuff inside of this that we need to talk about quite a bit. Now, if we go down to screensaver, okay, so no, down to screensaver. And Carol, now I'm talking just to Carol Gear, the only one who's on Monterey. Carol, for you and the system preferences, this is under desktop and screensaver. Okay, let me stop this for just 1 second to share with Carol where she should find it, but this is only for Carol, so no one else get confused, because on the system preferences, where you would find the same setting is right here under desktop and screensaver. So say that you were in your Apple Cloud or whatever, go back to this icon that leads you to all the initial choices, and then desktop and screensaver will bring you right here. Okay, so that's just for Carol. For everyone else, I'm back to the system settings. Under screensaver, we have the Sequoia Sunrise is the default one that I have for this Sequoia. But if you look over here in the under Mac OS, you'll see that there's also this one for Sequoia. Then there's this one, which is a basic old Macintosh, or Sonoma used to have that one, or Ventura. I really used to like this one. It's a California Poppy, or Monterey, and so on and so on. So if you have Monterey, when I share my other screen, you might notice that I'm doing this one now. You can choose all of those, or you can go under landscape, under Sequoia Sunrise. I had this one here. Sonoma also had like a horizon and stuff like that. So these were also things that you could find. We've had Yosemite, we have El Capitan, we have so many different photos that belong to the different operating systems. What if you don't want any of those? And what if you want something else? What if you want a cityscape in your background, or underwater jellies in your background? Let me actually share my entire screen now. And what if this is what I want? So I'm going to go over here and say show as wallpaper. And what that means is that back here, I will have, and I think I have I guess you can just choose it over there. Now, why is it not changing? I don't know. This should have changed right now. That's bizarre. Here I'm showing you how to do something and it's not doing it. That's not a very good. Oh. Because I need to download it. No. Is it changing for you guys?
No, now it just changed.
Top one is changing, but how about this one? Oh, there it is. Okay.
No, it's
Wallpaper
in the
now.
background too.
For some reason, it was resisting changes. So you can change your background. You can have the, Oh, I know. Look down here. It's downloading. That's why. They used to have them loaded. Now, when you choose one, see this little circle? It's like a little donut that's getting fuller and fuller. That's what's happening. It's downloading. So if you click on a bunch of them, you're going to download a bunch of them. So you might want to be careful with how many you click on that you can use. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about those. So there, see how it's about to get there? Good. And so now I have my dolphins. See that? All right. So now over here, I'm you know, I have a couple of different devices connected to this, and so it's telling me where else it's going to show it. I'm going to go back to my Sequoia Sunrise. Here we go. And it's turning on again. And then after you do that, you can have it or not as wallpaper or not. But I'm trying to find, give me a second, because what I'm not finding, they changed this. Okay. I'm going to just show you later under wallpaper is the photos. So why do they have it under screensaver? And oh, I'm sorry. I'm telling you the screensaver instead of the wallpaper. I am so okay. Okay, got it. Sorry, my brain, because in the other in the system that I showed you before for Carol, it's both in the same spot. Screensaver and wallpaper are in the same spot, and for some reason I assumed it would be in the same spot. But here you have one for screensaver, one for wallpaper, which is different, which is why I was being confused. Screensaver is different than a wallpaper. Okay, let me explain. Screensaver we're not gonna see right now, and it's unless I say also show as wallpaper, which is why that was taking a while. Screensaver is something that moves. And when you are not using your computer for a certain amount of time, the screen kind of goes into showing you that thing, and it kind of moves around a little bit. And it's to save your screen from burning in the light colored stuff. So if you walk away from this right now and it stays like this all the time, and you do that for every day, then after a while, this light colored box will begin to kind of imprint itself like a ghost onto your screen. So a screensaver is something that kind of moves. You've seen that, like it kind of shimmers a little bit in one way or another. So that's a screensaver. Sorry, my brain was saying the word screensaver and I wasn't thinking it through. It's wallpaper that I was trying to show you first. Wallpaper is this background, right, that you get down here. And it's at the bottom of wallpaper that I was showing you that you could also put your own photos as wallpaper. So for those of you who do your photos and know that how to use your photos and whatever, then you could choose to have your own photos be part of what's the wallpaper. And you can have a whole folder, a whole album. I'm going to choose, you know, that. So, but this has to do with your access to your Photos app and stuff like that. So say that I have this photo here that I love that I took last year. Maybe I want that as my background, right? So that's my photo. That's a photograph that I took. This is a photograph that I took. Now, don't get really complicated. I recommend not to get these complicated kind of photos, because then it's really hard to find all these other things that we have on our screen that we need to look, which is the only thing I don't like about this Sequoia one, is that it seems really busy to me. Even though it's the default setting, I really don't like it. Was much easier when you had this kind of background, right? Or the Ventura one I always liked. Because it just shows itself so much nicer for stuff. But whatever background you use, have it be something that you enjoy. Like these jellies are really pretty and they're not too busy, for example. So if you like underwater stuff, this might be a good one. So anyway, play around with these guys. If you want to set up nothing, you don't want the distraction, then you can just set up a color. You can say that that's your background, right? And you can have any color you want. You can be boring. So those of us who are photographers, the best thing you can do is to have one of these two backgrounds, because then it's neutral and it doesn't affect the photos that you're working on and stuff like that. So, but yeah, and you can change it, as you can see, to whatever you want, whenever you want it. I am going to default back to the one that's the teaching one. But there you go. Bob, your hand's been up for a little bit.
Yeah, well, I just like to have a different wallpaper like every day. So I chose Shuffle Aerials Cityscape.
Oh, there you go.
And it changes every 12 hours.
Okay. Shuffle underwater. the time that things change, you can choose. So me, for example, in my personal computer, I have a series of photos that I put in a folder in my Photos app, which when you take the photos class, you'll know what I mean. I put it in an album, and then I shuffle through those. And yeah, I don't wait a whole day for mine to shuffle, but what I do is I shuffle. So over here, when you click this, any of the choices that have this circle that goes around like that, it's going to shuffle, and you choose every how many minutes. So you can have it shuffle every 30 minutes. You can have it shuffle once a day. Every 5 seconds, you're going to go crazy, but I'm going to put it on right now so that you can see how that works. And in 5 seconds, it's going to switch. And then in 5 seconds, it's going to switch. And 5 seconds, there it is. See, there it's switching already. And if we count 5, it'll switch to the next one. Does that make sense? So you
Yeah.
want to have, I think I have it every 5 minutes on my other computer or something like that. So then when it switches, it's not a big deal, but I have one of my displays on that so I can see my family photos. And then on the other one, I have something neutral. So you can choose a different display to have a different, if you have 2 displays like I do, or 3, in fact, like I do, then you can have a different one. So yeah, so that's the whenever. So what he's saying is that he chose this one that is Ariel's. And then once they, the default is rotates every 12 hours. Okay, so I guess it's like looking down onto the earth kind of photos or something like that. That sounds cool. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the default one because it's the default one and I'm teaching, but you guys can play around with those. These are still, and this is moves. That's the difference between the wallpaper and the screensaver. And the screensaver turns itself off on and starts moving a little bit, very gently, in the background in order to avoid that ghosting thing. Now, what's this dynamic wallpaper here? What's that all about? That's important. So this is the, in fact, this is really the Sequoia default. And notice it's probably easier to show it on this one. This one here, where it has a color. And I think you can choose what kind of color you want it to have. Maybe I want it to always be bluish or something like that. But anyway, and what happens is that right now it's daylight, right? Sonoma, Ventura, let me go with the Ventura one because it's kind of the picture is obvious here. It's daylight. So this is a bright, happy sunflower poppy. Notice that it's kind of gets darker and darker and darker in this tiny little image. See, it goes from light to dark. What happens is that the computer knows that it's now, 12 p.m. and so it's bright and sunshiny, but this wallpaper changes throughout the day. So as it gets later into the evening, it'll get darker and darker and darker. It'll be a pretty dark poppy at the end. The idea is that as you're looking at your screen, it gets darker to help you set yourself up for the nighttime, to not have so much light in your eyes. So all these dynamic ones do that. See, it kind of shows you how it's going to be getting these lines here, kind of showing you that it's going to be getting darker as time goes by. So these colors are going to mutate. Yeah, they're going to slowly shift as the time goes by. And at nighttime, you'll have a darkish screen with a similar pattern. And at daytime, you'll have this really bright screen. So that's the dynamic wallpapers. And you can't do that with your photos. Your photos are whatever they are, but the dynamic wallpapers that you download from them. And there's one that comes with each basic setup is that's what that means. And that's why sometimes you'll come in and you'll see it looking much darker or much lighter and you'll wonder why. And it's because it's that dynamic one and it's automatic. Or you can have it always be dark, or you can have it always be light. You can choose that if you want, if you like it so much. But if as the day goes along, it's going to slowly shift from that into this. And this is going to be your dark version if this is the one that you have. If you had the poppy, then the light one is this one and the dark one is that one. Does that make sense? And it's not going to shift from one moment to the other. It's going to just slowly get darker. So that's what these guys are. I'm going to leave it on automatic and I'm going to leave it on this one now instead of on on the trees. All right. And then if there's, is there any questions? Is everyone good with that? You've been able to choose photos, those of you who want your photos. And if you don't know about that, photos, if you don't have albums and stuff on your photos, then that's part of the photos class. And I'll help you make a little album of photos that can go become your wallpaper. So for those of you who are going to take the photos class, remind me. I can show you how to set up a little album that then you choose maybe your 10 favorite photos or your 55 favorite photos, and you can have those rotating in the background. All right. I'm assuming all is good. If someone has a question, just please speak up. Since I haven't seen, I kind of look at your faces and I kind of see the despair looking faces, and I haven't seen any despair looking faces. So I'm assuming it kind of works. But then again, there's some people that I don't see. All right. Since I have no questions, or you have no questions, I'm going to move up to desktop and dock. And for you, Carol, oh, actually, let me stop my share and show Carol how it looks on the Monterey. So this was the screensaver portion, and this is the desktop portion. See how I told you that in the Monterey they were together? So these are the photos that you choose, and again, dynamic or light or still. Or if you want to, here on the left side, you would go to your photos and you can choose maybe like your favorites or something like that. And if this is your favorite, then that's the photo that's going to be in the background. Oh, I'm not sharing my entire screen. So suddenly this is my background, you know, my two little babies when they were babies. And that's in there. Or I can have a different album. I can go into all my other albums and have that be the album that goes and becomes the photos and stuff like that. So you can do that, or you can have one of the desktop pictures, which is where I'm going to go back to having it. Okay. So that was the desktop and screensaver in one. Now I'm going to take you to where I'm taking everyone else. I'm going to go back here, and you're going to go to dock and menu bar. Okay. And once you're in dock and menu bar, then hang in there. And now I'm going to go to Sequoia, and you guys go to desktop and dock. It's the same stuff. It's just in a different part of the settings. So we were in screensaver and wallpaper. Now let's head over to desktop and dock. And over here, we have some choices that are going to really help us work with our computer. I'm going to just do the most basic of them. I'm going to have to share your entire screen so you can see my dock. I'm going to show you only the most basic ones. As class progresses, we can talk about a few others and stage manager and stuff like that. Right now, I'm just going to go to the very top where it says dock. And the dock is this portion of our screen. And you might notice that when I head over to my dock is kind of doing this animation where it gets bigger and smaller. And that's because of a choice that I have over here. I have my dock size on large. I could have it really tiny. See how my dock is so tiny. And I can have it with no magnification, and then it would be almost impossible to see anything in my dock. I could have my dock be really large and see it all the time. And when I hover over my things, it gives me a little number. Or I can have it a little bit magnified. And so here's magnification. And when I go over to it, I start making it slightly bigger. And if I make it really large, which I don't recommend, but anyway, that's how it could be. I mean, that's how big it magnifies when I put my mouse and move it over. So even if you don't see it too well, when you hover and touch it, you could have a small dock. And then as you do this, it kind of hovers over it. I don't like that combination, but as you can see, it's your choice, however big you want to have it. And however large you want your magnification. So then go and just hover, I'm not clicking, and see what size seems to work best. For teaching purposes, so that you see what I'm touching, I make it rather large magnification. In my real life, I have a little bit of a smaller magnification, but I like that magnification. If you've been able to change the size of your dock and change the magnification effect, then it's all working. Give me a yes. If you're not answering, or if you can't do it, please, if you're not answering and it's a yes, please give me a yes. And if you're having trouble and that's why you're not answering, then give me a no or just speak up. And I'll give you a hand. Now, most of you are seeing yes, some of you aren't answering, but hopefully it's a yes. So Carol and Yolanda, hopefully. Okay, Yolanda, do you need a hand finding this? I can't hear you. You're muted.
I'm sick. So anyway, my duck, I guess, is on this side. Okay, they are,
Oh, yeah, I forgot to show that. Position
So-
on screen. Let me explain. Before she speaks, Yolanda's, the next thing that comes, position on screen, Yolanda has her dock on the left like that. See? So she has it on the side like that, and that's where you choose that. I would recommend never to put yours on the right side because the Mac uses the right side by default to put a lot of icons on it. So I would never recommend that. But if you like having it on the left side, I know some students like that, then that's where you do that. Or I'm having it at the bottom. I just needed to explain that to everyone. Now I'll let you ask your question. Yes, Yolanda, yours is on the left and
So before I, excuse me, before I got sick, I knew how to manipulate, like to make it big or, the one on the left. But now, when I touch it, it's just the same. It doesn't do anything.
so
So
then it's the
really large.
magnification.
I'm sorry.
It's the magnification right above. It doesn't matter if it's at the left or on the right. The magnification still works right here. This setting. Move this one. Okay, that's the one that makes things get bigger.
That's that's where I've been touching and nothing is happening. It's just still.
You want to try to share your screen so I can see what's happening?
Let me see. How do we share the screen? I'm very sorry. Go share. Okay, here.
I'll remind you. I know that you've done you've done it and you'll get it again.
Am I on my screen now?
So give me a share and then share again. The second button at the bottom that needs to say share. There you go. Perfect. Okay, so there's your, go to your system settings.
System setting.
For the Apple and open.
It's an Apple. Okay, system setting.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. System settings.
Click on that. And then now on the left, on the system settings, go ahead and open your desktop and dock.
Desktop and oh my God, if you had, yeah.
Cool. And now here it is.
When I open it, did they open it or that's it? Just
Fine.
click.
Yeah, just grab this little guy right here and drag it over like that. And then you'll get some magnification. So
What-
move your
what
mouse.
the- I'm
You're done
sorry.
with that. Move your mouse, leave that and move over here. And here's your magnification. Go up.
Magnification.
Go to the right. See, do you see my pink line?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Follow it up.
The
Follow the
desktop.
pink line. Yeah, click again on desktop and dock. Yeah, follow the pink line to the right. You need to go to the right now. You might have Zoom in your way.
It
Maybe
doesn't want to go with my.
yeah, so you probably have Zoom in the way. Why don't you move your system settings over a little bit because you might have Zoom in the way on the right side. Many times people don't, this portion of the screen for you guys when you're sharing is kind of hidden because that's where you have like the Zoom people. So when you can't see it, I ask you to grab your box from the top and drag it over so that you can see it. Yeah. Move
So-
it from here, from there. Click and drag. Yeah, click and now drag to the left. Perfect. So now, perfect. So can you see this now where it says magnification?
Magnification.
I'm circling
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I see it now.
Okay, so point to it. There we go. And now drag this to the right.
To the right.
Grab this, click right there. Yep. Perfect. And drag it to the right. Now, when you go to your dock, you'll see that it's got magnification. Go to your dock now. Put your mouse over your dock. Go to your dock. The one that's, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Made it a bit too big. I would go a bit less big, but there you go. That worked. So you go
Okay.
back to the magnification setting and maybe leave it somewhere in the middle or something.
I see. Okay, got it. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. When you were demonstrating about the like those trees, I had so many. Why do I have like 8 of those on the top? I was wondering why is that like why not only one? Why I have like a whole
Here,
bunch?
you mean like the wallpaper?
Yeah, like
Go
these
down,
trees in
down.
here. I have like they are in squares on the top.
Yeah,
That's all right. It's not that important. I was just wondering
talking
why.
about the wallpaper down there, but maybe you're talking about the Zoom,
You
right?
might be talking about the view.
Yeah, the view of the Zoom view. Since Zoom I can't see on your share, I'm kind of blind to that. So I'll let you deal with that. But right now, for sure, I'm trying to help you with things that are. So I think that you magnified it a little bit too much, Yolanda, when everything else disappears. If I were you, I would grab this little line here right next to you. Oh, okay. Okay, stop. Guys, did you see what just happened? Okay, go back, go do exactly the same thing you did. I think you touched the top of your screen or something to get all those desktops. Now I know what you're talking about, which is a little bit what happens to Sue. You have like 9 desktops open. Yeah, that's why it's going crazy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Why are so many desktop open?
Okay, so do me a favor and click on go and Sue, this might be one of those things. I don't want to confuse you though, Sue, but it's not happening to you now, but you had a lot of desktops open the other day. Yolanda, go to your keyboard, look at your keyboard.
Keyboard.
At the top left of the keyboard, you see the ESC is a top left screen, right?
Okay.
And it says F1, F2, and F3. Do you see F3? Okay, click on F3.
F3.
Okay, click on it again.
F3.
Leave it clicked. Okay. Everyone, do you see this thing that's happening up there? She has desktop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She has like 8 desktops. You see that? You see all that? That is at some point she created that unwillingly probably and whatever. So let me do this. You need to get rid of some of those desktops. So how you're going to do that is head over to desktop 8. Click on this one.
Desktop 8 right there. But what will I
Any
click?
one of them, any desktop 2, desktop 3, just any of these that you have there. Click
Okay,
on
let
one,
me
just
see.
not one.
I don't know what to click. I'm so sorry.
Take your mouse up here. See how it says desktop 2, desktop 3, desktop 4. You see that? Yeah, good. Now we're going to get rid of them. Go up to this. No, don't click on it. Okay. Go ahead and let me get rid of all of these pink things. Now hit your F3 key again.
F3.
Okay, now go put again your mouse over desktop 4 like you did before. Yeah, now wait. See how when you hover over it, this little X appears? Go ahead and click on that X to get rid of it.
Click on the X.
Yes. Good. Now get rid of it. Now now hover over this next one. Click on it. Yeah. And click, there we go, another X. Get rid of all your extra desktops. I'll explain the desktop concept later, but I doubt that almost anyone in this class. No, don't click on that one. That's the active one. Let's get rid of 2 and 3.
2 and 3. So just
now 2. Now go over to 2. Yeah, that one. Get rid of that one. There's another little X right here.
This is the only one I see is this one and that one.
Yeah, so desktop 2, get rid of. We only need one. So hover over it, yeah, and click on that little X.
Get rid of it, okay.
Good. Now you have only one desktop. Click on that one and you'll be back. Just click on this now.
Click on this one.
And you're good. Phew. You have only one desktop now. Okay, so guys, that anyone else, when you clicked F3, did you find more desktops? Let me clear your answers. Hold on. If anyone else found more desktops when they hit F3, give me a yes. Sometimes you don't know how you create them and you create more desktops. When you are really good and comfy with your computer,
I'm
you
sorry, what?
when
What
you
did
are
you say?
when you are, let me just stop your share, by the way, for a second, because you are done. When you are really busy working on your computers and you're effective and efficient. So at this point, if you're in this class, that's probably not you right now. But for example, when I'm working, I have to focus on work. And I have my browser open and I have like my SBCC and I have the files and I have stuff and the school email. And I don't want like suddenly the news to interrupt me or a movie if I'm watching a movie or my personal calendar to pop up. So what I can do is I can open a new desktop and in my second desktop, I can have my personal calendar, a movie. On a third desktop, I could have something else. And so what happens is that I could have my computer feel as if I have like my work hours computer and my off work hours computer, for example, or I have a project with a bunch of different files open for that project. And I'll have that on a different desktop. So like it's time to work on my novel. Say I'm a writer. I always do that. I'm a writer. I guess must want to be a writer because I always give that example. So I'm a writer and I have my novel that I'm writing and I have all the research I've done and I have information about the city that my characters are in and the whatever. So I have all that spread open on my desktop and I'm writing and then suddenly it's time to go to class. So I can just put F3, go to my other desktop and then that does open and I have all my school stuff in there and they're not like everything crowded in one. Does that make sense? Now, until you're really comfy with even one desktop, I wouldn't recommend this happening because you might go, I knew I had it open, where is it? And you might forget that you need to click F3 and go to your second desktop. But that by mistake, at some point, she clicked on something and created 9 of those and they were just sitting there empty. So I had her close them. Does that make sense? Just so you understand what it is that we saw. Now, if you want to create an extra one by the same token, you go to that F1 desktop, F3 key. See how it has the F3 key has like 3 or 4 boxes drawn on that key? Those are your different desktops. That the keyboard on the key, the F3 key has like 3 little rectangles. That's what that is. You create yourself a new desktop. You go to the plus sign and then you'll have 2 desktops. So a few of you guys might be advanced enough to want to play around with that. Check that out. Definitely Bob. Maybe some people who've been taking the class for a while. Julie, you guys can do that. But don't do it if it's going to get you confused. Only do it if it's going to be useful to you. Okay? Because you can't see them at the same time. You can't see desktop 1 and 2 at the same time. It's not like having 2 or 3 windows on the window. It's either one or the other. You either see one desktop or you see the other. So only because Yolanda brought it up and because I want you guys to understand the things that are happening, I am going to share right now for a second. And I'm going to click my own little F3. See how it says desktop 1? That's all I have. But I'm going to go ahead and go over here to where it says plus sign and click desktop 2. So now I have 2. And on this desktop, I'm going to open, for example, I don't know, my calendar. Whatever. Here's my calendar on this one. Maybe I'm watching a movie or something like that. And when I want to go back to desktop 1, I can't other than F3, go back to desktop 1. And in desktop 1, maybe I was on Safari. So now I have Safari on desktop 1, F3. I go to my second desktop and there's my calendar, but see how I can't share them? So it's not necessarily something that's useful unless you're truly doing 2 completely different things, okay? So that was just for you to understand a little bit what's happening, but if you did see that you had more than one desktop, then you want to get rid of them. You hover over this little top corner, click on desktop 2, it goes away, and you're back to one desktop, and hopefully 99% of you only have one desktop open at a time. But as you saw, sometimes by mistake, you end up having more desktops. So that's how you would get rid of them. Because at some point, Yolanda kind of did this where she created plus, plus, plus a bunch of desktops and they were all sitting there empty. And so I had her go and click, and instead of having them all, if you hover over the corner, close it, and then go to the next one. Oh, well, just hover it and close it and stuff like that. So I'd had her go in and close all her different desktops. That's basically what I'm doing now is what I had her do. And then your left was on and life is good. So if you kind of understood, I don't need you to do this one. This isn't a teaching, please do it. It's understanding that the Mac has so many things that can save your life. But at this point, we need like make your life easier. But those same things, if they appear out of nowhere and you don't know where they come from, they could make you, it could feel like your life is harder. Like, what are all these boxes that Yolanda was saying? She didn't even know what name to give it. Of course, she suddenly had all these boxes on top, right? Things happen. So it's good you're in class because you can ask me like Yolanda did and we discovered it. But also know that if that happens to you, you can get rid of them by clicking on the little top X. On the top left, there's always going to be an X. When there's an X, it always means get out of here, get rid of it, eliminate it, delete it. So click those X's and get out of the way. Okay?
Yeah.
Give me a yes if you understood it, not if you know how to use it. In fact, I would not expect you know how to use it, but you understood what kind of a little bit of the technicality of how it's working. Unless you are, as I said, very like at one point I had 3 clients I was working on stuff at the same time, and I had each client's material on 3 different desktops because it was like it was getting too complicated to shuffle because they had similar stuff. And so basically that was the solution I found at that point. But most of the times I don't do more desktops.
If you have some,
Okay.
one program working on one desktop and a different one working on another one, and you click to get rid of one of them, what happens to the program? Does it shut it off normally? Like usually when I go,
The program stays open. The program stay open. Yeah. Just you visual, it all kind of,
it's just your visual, it's not the actual program.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Okay.
because when I want to get rid of stuff that's cluttering things up, I minimize it on my main screen and it goes down into my dock, and then I can get it back later.
That's a bit different, and we're going to be talking about that. Yeah. So minimize getting it back, but it's all within the same desktop. It's almost like you could have 3 computers in your in your room at the same time. It's a little bit weird, but hey, it works. So for now, versus trying to figure out how to do it, just figure out how not to do it, like, right, how to get out of that if that happens to you. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Cool. Now I had to, meanwhile I was doing that, there's an issue with someone who's registering. As you might notice, I was handling that at the same time. Yes, I can do 2 and 3 things at the same time, believe it or not. I just noticed that I was still sharing my screen and that I was writing an email as I was talking to you. There's an issue with someone who's trying to register, trying to get her into the class. And so I had to send an email to registration. So I'm sorry, that normally could have been done on a different desktop. Anyway, okay. So, here's my desktop and dock, magnification, position on screen. The Genie effect is what I have turned on. I don't know if you have that on, but what is that Genie effect? Watch. If I were, and this is a little bit of what it refers a little bit to what Georgia just said, that she said that when she put something away, right? And this is what she meant. I don't want to get rid of this program. I just want to kind of put it to the side. Imagine that you have a full desk and you just want to pull out a different folder. You grab one folder and you put it to the side and you open another folder. And that's kind of like, what if I want to open something else and I want this out of the way for a little bit, but I don't really want to close it? That's when I click on this little yellow line. So the yellow line, notice it's going to go, see how it did what's called the Genie effect? So then when I go find it again, I go back over here and I click on it and goes, whoop. Now that's the genie effect. If I instead said scale effect and I did that, it would go down quick. It just went down and it's more boring. Why not have a genie effect in life if you can have it? So that's just what that is. It's just how quickly or not it disappears. And this is to minimize a window. So now if I open a Finder window and a Safari window, and I have a bunch of things in the way and I'm trying to get around it. And we're going to talk about this. This is a big part of our lesson this week. One thing that I can do is just minimize what I'm not using. So I can minimize this one, whoop, it went to the side, and then I'm going to minimize this one, whoop, it went to the side, and now I can just see the one, right? And they're sitting here waiting for me. Now there's many other ways to handle those things, and we're going to get around to them. There's Stage Manager, there's many things, but this is one of them, right? Where you just minimize things and put them on the side. So let's try that one out. Let's go ahead and open some other app from a simple app. And the simple apps would be, for example, Contacts is a simple app. And I'll explain simple in single window, let me say, more than simple, single window apps. So click on your Contacts if you see it and open your Contacts. Now, if you've never used it, it might say, welcome to Contacts, right? Or something like that. But if you see it, put it up there. At the same time, you might have never used it, but as you see the Notes app, click on the Notes app and open that one. Now, if you don't have any of these, it's possible that you don't have them in your app, in your doc. That's okay. Keep with me. Let's open a Safari window. Let's open a calendar window. So at this point, I've opened like 5 or 6 different windows. For those of you who know how to open a Finder window, go down, don't know how to open it, then on this little half smiley face, the first icon of them all, click on one of those and a Finder window will open. So now every one of the programs that has a little dot underneath here, every one of these has opened a window. And in fact, I have some more in there. So I have 5 or 6 windows open. Once you've opened 5 or 6 windows and they're all messy, one on top of the other, please give me a yes. I'm going to go ahead and.
I'm sorry. What was your question again? I don't have there's a dot in there and it's blank. And
So here's the job, Yolanda. Go to your doc and open 5 or 6 programs. And I pointed to a couple of simple ones that only have one window, like Contacts and Calendar. But if you're accustomed to
I see. Okay.
email, your notes, I want you to make a mess. You know how last week I asked you to close all your programs that were in your doc? Today I'm saying open them up. Just open them up. Just click and have at least 5 black dots on your doc. And once you have at least 5 black dots, give me a yes. So the black dots means that the program is up and running. That doesn't mean that you're seeing it. It just means it's up and running. But if you just open them, then it also means you're seeing it. Here, I'm going to open the App Store. So now I have, a bunch of dots here.
Yeah,
all right. So I'm mainly seeing yeses up there. Is anyone who isn't following, who hasn't given me a yes? Let me see. Oh, by the way, there's someone here who's called Zoom user. I have a feeling that's probably you, Sue, because you had to sign out and sign in again. So let me rename you. And that's your iPad. There we go. Okay. So I'm seeing yeses from most of you. And Afra, your name is gone. So let me rename you because you fell out and came back in. Okay. All right. So here we go. This is how I see a lot of computers when I come help people. I see computers with a ton of open windows. And what people end up doing if they need to go from one to the other is that they'll move one out of the way and they'll move this out, right? And they'll move. Have you ever been one of those that moves things around to be able to get to the next thing? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah. And it gets kind of crazy. So one solution, and it's not the best solution, but it is a solution, is to minimize those things. Well, first of all, if you're not using it, to close it. And here's the problem. Watch, this is Safari, guys. If you see up here, it says Safari. So that's why I know that this is Safari, because amongst all these windows, how would I know which is my one that's in front? Because I look at the Apple and it says Safari. If instead I had this one in front, I would look up here and it says Notes. What if I want to get to my App Store? I have it open, I know, because if I look down here, my App Store is open, but I don't see it to click on it. So how can I get to my App Store? Is there any program that you open that you don't see because something else is in the way? How do you get to it if it's in the way? How do you know how to get to it? Well, watch. If I want to get to my App Store, I need to go down to my dock now because it's hiding. I don't see it anywhere. Go to my dock and click on it one time. Ah, here it was. I had pushed it out of the way. And it comes to the top. So now if I look at my Apple icon on the top left, it says App Store. You see that? Where I'm showing you this when I keep saying the name of the program appears next to the Apple icon. That's up here. So now I click on this App Store that just popped open and it says App Store. But now say that I click, just because I happen to move my mouse and click here, I clicked on Notes. So Notes came to the foreground and the App Store is hiding again. Does that make sense? It's kind of like, it's a mess of things, isn't it? If you understand, not if you understand, if this has happened to you, if you have things that you know are there, but you don't know how to get to them back and forth, if this kind of mess has ever happened to you, give me a yes. If you're someone who uses one program at a time and this hasn't happened to you, give me a no. There's people of all kinds. There's the ones who tidily open and close what they use, and there's people who leave everything open. I'm seeing some yeses. Okay. Yes, Julie?
I don't know if you needed a reminder, but it's almost 25 after.
I guess, thank you. I made my break reminder, but I didn't make my classes almost over reminder. Thank you, Julie, for keeping me on track. I usually make alarms for, warning me that class is almost over, but I haven't done those yet. At least I got my break reminders in. Thank you, Julie. You got 10 more minutes. Okay. So I'm seeing quite a few yeses. Sue doesn't seem to have that problem. She said no. Other people aren't answering. Please remember to answer when I ask. Okay, here we go. First of all, if you want to keep all of these open because you're using all of them, if you swear to me that you're using all of them, what you do to switch between one and the other at this point, the easiest thing would be to go and click on the dock. So I'm going to click on the calendar comes up. I click on the contacts comes up. When I say comes up, means it comes to the foreground and the name of its program sits by next to the Apple. So if I wonder which program is on, and I'm going to click on System Settings now, not only does System Settings come to the top, but it also hangs out next to the Apple, the name there. Does that make sense, you guys? So if you really need all of these open, then keep them open and do this and be eternally confused. Or you can minimize the ones that you don't want to use right now. It's not the best solution. I'm going to teach you another one, but next Thursday, you'll teach you another one. But right now I can go, well, I don't need the system settings right now, but for some strange reason, I don't want to close it. I'll just minimize it. I mean, ideally I should close it, but say that I minimize it. Boom. Where did it go? It's sitting right there, right next to the trash. And when I want it again, I just click up there and it comes up again. So now I'm going to minimize that one. And then I'm going to minimize contacts. I'm going to hover over it. And when I see the yellow line, I minimize contacts. Now I'm going to minimize calendar. Now I'm going to minimize my notes. Now I'm going to minimize my app store. And I'm going to minimize my stores. And I'm going to minimize my other one. And I'm going to minimize that. And they're all sitting over here. You see that? That's the yellow line. Now, the negative of that is that all these programs are still running. So if you have a computer that for any reason is slow or old or, doesn't have too much RAM and can't handle too many open files, that's not necessarily the best solution. But at least now you can open only one at a time. You go, okay, I really need my notes open. You click on notes and you use your notes. When you're done, you don't want to close it for some reason. You click on the minimize and then you say, okay, now I want my settings. And you don't have to go in here and figure out which one is your settings because they all look the same. You go here and you click on settings and it pops open from there. Does that make sense? Because yeah, you get to a point that these all look the same and you'd have to hover to go, oh, that's the App Store. Oh, that's the Google Drive. Oh, that's the inbox. Oh, that's the contacts, right? So you can do that, or you can just go here and click on contacts again. Boom, contacts opens from the minimized area. All right, so everyone go ahead and minimize all the things you opened. Put them here on the side. And then when you're ready to use it again, either open it back from here, if you know which one it is, or open it back by just clicking on its dock right here, and it'll pop open. And it pops open into the same spot you had it. So if you had it down there and you minimize it, when you pop it open, it opens back right there in that weird position, right? So you want to have them all in the middle when you minimize them, and that way when you need it again, you click on it and it pops open into the middle. If that worked for you and you were able to clear up your desk by minimizing and then pop them open again and use one at a time, if that's working for you, give me a yes. If that didn't work, or if there's some questions about that, please give me a no. Or speak up right now. Let me know that you need a hand. Okay. Now, I'm seeing most of you guys saying yes. All right. So here's the deal. I don't recommend that. Okay. I don't recommend that because that's still too many things running. What I recommend is closing the things that you don't need. But beyond my recommendation, people are still going to have a lot of open things. So what's plan B? There is a plan B for all of us except for Carol Gear. Carol Gear, this doesn't exist on Monterey. But for everyone else who's here, what I'm about to show, whether you're in Ventura, no one is in Sonoma. So if you're in Ventura or in Sequoia operating system, this will work for you. First of all, we need to open all those windows again. So I'm going to click again on settings, on the App Store, on notes, on calendar, on contacts, on Safari. I'm basically clicking one each of all the things that I had open. Okay, so I've opened a whole bunch of windows again. Please go and open a whole bunch of windows again, and I'm going to show you a cool thing. And then we're going to close it up for the day, and we're going to go and delve deeper into that cool feature next class. Okay. So we opened. We have a bunch of windows open. And now go and put in the foreground your system settings. So go click on system settings so that it comes to the foreground, which is this one. Is everyone with me?
Wait a second.
Bring your system settings to the top. All right. So here we have our desktop and dock, which is where we were, size, magnification, bottom. You've already chosen those things. Keep scrolling down until you get to desktop and stage manager. These two should be turned on. So if they're not, make sure that you turn them on. On desktop and in stage manager should be turned on right now.
Desktop, not desktop and in stage manager. Okay.
It doesn't turn on mine.
Okay, hold on. This needs to be on and this needs to be on. And then when that is on, let's go down here and so basically when I say go down here, keep scrolling down and you will see this thing called Stage Manager. Some of you might already have it on, but since no one's been saying that they do, you probably don't. So I'm seeing, Sue, that you're a bit confused. I'm in the system settings. Can you open your system settings? I know that it's confusing when I have all these windows, which is the whole, let me just maybe finish this, because the whole point is that with all these windows, it is confusing to know what I'm showing. I'm showing the system settings. We were in the desktop and dock this whole time, size, magnification, remember we were there. And then when you scroll down, you get to this place that says Stage Manager. So just watch. Don't try to do this, just watch. I'm going to turn this on. And boom,
Oh,
I'm going to turn it off. Mess. I'm going to turn it on. Woohoo. I'm going to turn it off. Big mess. So you should be seeing a big shift when you turn it on. Now, let me read. It says Stage Manager arranges your recent windows, all of these, into a single strip for reduced clutter and quick access. So I'm going to turn it on, and now we're going to talk about this. Let me clear my little pink thing. So if you look here to my left, I have a single strip with each one of my open apps. And I had, it seems 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The one that's open right now is System Settings. And the rest of them, instead of minimizing down there, and here, let me open this one more. Instead of minimizing to go down there, it is going here to the left. So watch. When I want to use my calendar, I can go over here to my calendar, click on it. It opens and System Settings took its place. So now I use my calendar and then I go, oh, well, now what I need to do instead, I'm moving some stuff out of the way. Now what I want to do instead is my notes. I click on my notes. My notes appear and my calendar gets put away, or my finder appears and my notes. I can only use one thing at a time. Does that make sense, you guys?
okay.
This could be awesome or not, depending on how you like to have. Let me actually close this window. I tend to need 2 windows open, 3 windows open. So the Stage Manager isn't necessarily the best thing for me. But if I, like right now with Zoom, and you need to have Zoom to see me, but you also need to do the work, this might not be the best idea. But this is the new version, if you want, of hide it, minimize everything into the dock. This is if it's open, leave it open. It also might make you be more aware that things are open that you don't need, because you're like, why is all that stuff open? I'm not using it. Well, you see it versus down here, you kind of don't see it anymore. So when you go, why is my notes open? I don't need my notes. So then you can actually close it. I can go down. How do you quit a program correctly? And it is 12:35. So we're going to start the day with Stage Manager next week. How do you quit a program correctly? You go to the dock, you right click and you quit. Please don't quit programs by closing the red X. That is what everyone does. And that is the bane of any Mac teacher's existence. Right click and quit. But we're going to continue with this next class. Okay. So right now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to have you open and quit everything that you open just for me. Like, oh, you open the app. I'm going to right click quit. I don't need it. Right click quit. So quit everything except for what you truly need to keep open. If you're not using your calendar, you're not using your contacts. I'm quitting everything. See how it's disappearing from here? I'm quitting.
And the right click,
quitting.
The right click is 2 fingers.
Fingers down.
Okay.
And then you say quit. Right, 2 fingers down, and then you choose quit. So that closes everything that you don't need and leaves you with only what you need. For now, that I want you to turn off the Stage Manager, because if you aren't comfortable with it and you're left with it for 2 days, you might get confused. But this is where you turn it on and off. That's it. That's what you need to turn on and off. So if you turn that on, then you're back to the good old computer you've always used. We'll keep working on Stage Manager and getting more comfy with it. But I want to acknowledge that I'm now 1 minute over, and you all have things to do, and some of you are going to join me again this afternoon at 1:30 in my iLife Photos class. If so, we all need to have lunch. So turn this off again and then practice. It's open your system settings, go to desktop and dock, scroll down, and this is where you turn it on and off. Okay, desktop and dock. Scroll down to Stage Manager, turn it on and off, and then practice. If you have one thing open, it's one thing open. But if you have 5 things open, it becomes really useful. My recommendation is not to have 5 things open. But if you have 5 things open, the Stage Manager can help you organize your stuff. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Let me stop my share
And
and
the catalog came in the mail.
oh, Julie, the class schedule getting mailed today at the same
And it's
time.
addressed to current resident, so no name, just the address.
I think it just goes in case people move or whatever. All right. Well, there
Thank
you
you.
go.
See you
perfect.
Thursday.
See you Thursday. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Go to the class recordings and check on the AI as of tonight or tomorrow morning to see what the homework, what the practice was. If you don't remember, but mainly practice with the stuff we've been doing in class, the iCloud, the desktop, stages, and stage manager.
All right. Thanks, Tiana.
Thank
Hope you
you.
feel better soon, Justine.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.